Good evening and Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. How was your holidays? It's welcome back, everybody. It's good to see everybody. I'm so glad everybody's here. It's been a long time. It feels like a long time. It feels like it's been like weeks or months and stuff. It's like so weird that, I've been away and man, the holidays move so quickly, so fast. But in that time, I hope everybody's holiday was good. Hope your Christmas was great. I want to hear stories about the fixings, the cookings, the gifts. Let me know in the chat. Let's welcome my co-host, Marshall Smith. How was your Christmas dinner? How was your Christmas time? How was your just time in
It was
general?
it was good. Just laid back. It was really
Yeah.
warm weather. It was like summer.
Yep.
Went to the beach. Now we're getting ready to get cold. And so tomorrow I'm going to make for the first time a homemade chicken pot pie with my own everything, crust and all. So hopefully it'll be good.
Who doesn't like a good pot pie? I do.
That's
I
good
like
stuff. I
turkey
mean,
pot pie,
it's
but
going to get cold, so what the hell?
yeah, I know. It's going to be cold. It's
Down
already
here, I
starting
guess.
to, yep. Yeah. For us, it's going to get cold. It's going to be in 30s and the 40s. That's pretty cold here in Florida, and it's going to last for like 3 or 4 days. So we're going to be freezing our ass off. So welcome back. Good to see everybody in the chat. I hope your holidays were great. Let me know how it was and stuff. Tonight's show, Shirley, you can't be serious. I am serious, and don't call me Shirley. So that's the old mantra from Leslie Nielsen and Airplane. But that's about Nick Shirley and his amazing, amazing journalism, what he's uncovered, the investigative journalism. And you got to give props to that young man. What a great job he did. Phantom toddlers buying Lambos. Well, apparently that's what he discovered, that all these people have no kids at these autism centers, at these child leering centers. They can't even spell learning. They can't even speak English. What are these people doing in the country? Sucking off the tit, taking our money, rerouting around. So what? They could smurf it back into political donations for this freaking governor, for Elon Omar, and every other piece of crap out there. This is so much of a bigger exposure, as Elon Musk has pointed out with Act Blue, and we'll get into that tonight. Serving up peace and bombs away. We'll cover Trump's Mar-a-Lago visit with Zelensky and the drone attack that almost took out, let's just say, the Russian president. Are we sure about that? That's what he said. Was he there? We don't know, but that's being recorded. That's being discussed. I mean, think about like what Trump said, if we gave him Tomahawk missiles. Think about if we gave him more weapons. Who is actually doing this? And there was another point to this story. There was another point that when he welcomed in his generals and stuff, he goes, oh, you got some great generals here. Part of that casting crew. Central casting again comes up again. So the war is real. The actors are filling roles. We don't know what's going on. Bombs away. Yeah, bombs away. We hit a landmass or a land target, supposedly. It's unverified. We're going to cover that tonight a little bit. But let me know in the chat. What's up, MJ615 over here? I'm ready for an earful, True Terran. Welcome back, Rumble. We are on YouTube. Let's see who was anybody's else over there. So, yes, like, share, and subscribe over there. Leave us a comment. We're not monetized, so just subscribe to the platform. Let's hear your comments, questions, and concerns over there. You can help out the platform as well. Share and subscribe over here on Bill.net. Let's say hello to Trump 1. What's going on? Thank you for the cookie. Who else is here tonight? Thank you for the other cookie. Wood USA. Blue Viking, what's up? Thank you for the 117 donations. Gold Pills. Thank you, Wood USA. Trusty Turnip. Who else is here? I saw Patty B. What's going on? How was your holidays? Let me know in the chat. Curious Cat. What's up, Mark? Thanks again for the cookie. Good to see everybody, one and all. Quantum Respawn. Good to see you as well. Hope your Christmas. What are you doing for New Year's? What's your plan for New Year's? I want to talk to the chat because I haven't talked to anybody for a little bit before we get into it. What are you doing for New Year's, Marshall? Are you doing anything special? I mean, do you do it?
That's bad. No, I don't do any. I stay away from all that, man.
Right.
I stay home. I want to know what everybody got for Christmas.
Yeah.
Y'all got something cool for Christmas? Put it in the chat, man.
Let us know.
Or if you made something really cool to eat.
Yes.
I'm a foodie. And I know,
me
Brett,
too.
you're a foodie too.
I'm a big foodie. I cooked a massive, an
rib, right?
8 bone-in prime rib. I cooked Brussels sprouts with pancetta. I roasted them. Then I cooked the pancetta separately. Onions, garlic was that, little Parmesan. Broccolis and garlic, I roasted an Italian style. That was pretty good. I think the family liked that. couple. I made goat cheese, mashed potatoes, a couple other things. Quantum Respawn, We Arise, my plan. Nothing too special, but I'll be praying this year Trump starts making actual moves and arrests. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's my New Year resolution. I mean, can we get something? Can we feel something in some way that's actualized that that we can actually put our finger on and say, "Hey, look, is this going to work? Are these things happening?" I mean, everything that is breaking about Minnesota that goes back to like 2014. When did the FBI find out about this? Just recently, or Cash Patel says they've known about this for a while. And he's only been there like less than a year. Okay, good. Make some arrests. They have arrested, I think, 86 people. They have 72 other people under indictment. You got judges, federal judges all over the place in these court cases revoking these sentences. I mean, reversing these sentences. So I don't know what's going to take place. How are these things going to unfurl out? It's pretty sad. What's up, Sub Pack Vet? Long time. I haven't seen you. Right back at you. Well, when are you free? I don't know. Okay, good to see you. It's good to see everybody out there. Yeah, I want to get into this a little bit, but before I start, put your New Year's resolutions in there. I want to hear what your thoughts are for this year's New Year's. I want to hear what you're feeling, where you're going with this. Do you feel this year coming up, we're going to see the exposure? We're going to see arrests. We're going to see things. I mean, we know that the Treasury Department, the military, because you can't look at this and say that the Justice Department, and they've only confirmed 9 district people. How many district attorneys do they have? Like 9 confirmed, if that, barely any. I mean, what is going on in the Justice Department? They don't have enough manpower to go after all the smurfing, all this fraud. And think about if the fraud is so prevalent and it's pervasive all over the United States, there's not enough people to do it. So obviously something has to be done behind the scenes. Something or some entity has to approach this in such a manner to let's just say egregiously deal with this. Because I mean, if you think Minnesota's bad, what do you think California's going to be? What do you think New York's going to be? I mean, what do you think New Jersey's going to be? I mean, just pick a state and tell me this is not happening everywhere, or at least pick a sanctuary state and tell me this is not happening everywhere. I don't know how bad it is in Florida. I mean, it's probably not as bad as we think it is in comparison to this, but up to $12 billion, it's ridiculous. This just shows you, I think, a narrative, a discussion for a pretext that this is why it's not just the moratorium on illegal immigration. I don't know, 2 years, 10 years, whatever. It's about removing the rot and the filth that just continues to steal our wealth. And while you pay taxes coming up very soon this year, ask yourself, do I want to pay taxes? Do I have to pay taxes? Well, if you get a bonus or a Trump cut in some way, but if you have to owe taxes and stuff, are you going to pay it? Knowing full well it's going to fund this fraud. Especially we're going to have a couple of months before all this stuff comes out and all the checks and all these other things that are going to happen. But the question is, do you want the checks? I mean, after seeing this and seeing all these Somalis buy Lambos and Ferraris, and they can't speak English. They have plenty enough money to do whatever they got to do. And all this money is just pushed aside. What? Building an infrastructure for the Democrats to get reelected. It's pretty disgusting. And Republicans too. I mean, look at Emmer. He was like number 3 in the House, in the chain of the House Republicans. This guy goes back in 2015 and said the same thing that Governor Walz said. This is about white supremacy and stuff like that. You know what? I wish it was about white supremacy. I really would. Because you know what? That would just overshadow everything. Because then people would focus on it. There are many media outlets don't want to cover this. And I applaud Fox News and Newsmax and the big ones that did. But all the other rags, CNN, MSNBC, a lot of them didn't want to cover this. And shame on them. And there's a reason why this stuff just goes uncovered. And it's pretty sad in some way, Marshall.
They pay for ads through these media companies. And they get money through all this stuff. They're all wrapped up in all of it too.
Yeah.
And there's no way that these Somalians, these room temperature Somalians, room temperature IQ, that they came in and figured all this out, the sleuths that they are. No, they had somebody in the Minnesota government, probably right on up to Tim Walz, signing off on all this shit.
Yeah.
And somebody at a lower level trained them on how to do it.
Well, look, he signed in a lot of laws, gave licenses away to a lot of these people, so they became fake citizens in some way, able to drive, vote, no insurance, put the scams on in general, able to purchase businesses through articles of incorporation, and then get money from the state on these fake nursery centers, child care learning centers, autism center. See, that's an embarrassment. If you have a child that's autistic, I have 2 autistic nephews. If you had a child that was autistic and stuff, you would be very pissed, knowing full well that these people are scamming legitimate people that need centers to go to for what? And they take up all this money through this fraud and abuse for what? To launder it, to smurf out. And I have a lot of stuff that we're going to get into tonight. What's up, Hogleg? Thank you for the cookie in the can. I see you, Stun Gun. And you're on YouTube. That's great. Yeah, by the way, my YouTube channel that I had is still working, but my show with Thomas was taken down on Sunday for a copyright infringement. So I'm going to try and get that back up. YouTuber Nick Shirley gets response to Minnesota fraud fraud probe. So let's go into this right now. Let me just put this in here. So everybody heard about this, what's going on. He's uncovered a lot. Did he do this on his own? No. There's a lot of people in general that were covering this for years. He just exposed it because he has a large account, over 1 million followers, and he worked with somebody on the inside to bring this out, to go to all these places that's been doing this, and he needed a bigger platform to do this. And see, that's when the influencers come into play. That's when real good journalists that want to do this, and how he did this and how he went about asking the questions. Hey, can my son Joey come into this autism center and stuff? I needed to. And these people, look at them, they look dumbfounded. They don't speak any English. They didn't understand the words that are coming out of his mouth. It was pretty embarrassing in some way. But then again, does Waltz need to resign, or should they just indict him? They're trying to impeach him right now in the House, in the Minnesota House. So let's see what happens. So we'll find out on this. So Nick Shirley, MAGA-friendly YouTuber, lit up Christmas week with reports of Minnesota alleging massive fraud in the government-funded child care programs and provoked proving response from FBI and J.D. Vance. We'll cover Vance. A lot of people are coming out and attacking him. Wyatt Matta Shirley, 23, has more than 1 million YouTube subscribers, spoke during a White House roundtable this fall. In one viral scene from Minneapolis, Shirley stands in front of a supposed quality learning center, misspelled on a sign, Learning Center. Wow. No one pointed that out? I'm sure people saw that, but they didn't want to what? Go up there and not, hey, say, you know, how is this a learning center when you can't even spell? A daycare center that can't even spell learning, right? Shirley deadpans the camera. Administration officials argue that Minnesota under Governor Tim Walz, the 2024 VP candidate, is a hotbed of fraud perpetrated by the state's large Somali community. Walz's office told Fox News he worked for years to crack down on fraud and asked the state legislature for more authority. Think about the state reps that were assassinated, okay? And then the other ones that survived. And then the gunman who basically told Director Patel in a letter, in an open manifesto, that he was what? Encouraged to do this, hired to do this for this very reason, because they shot down legislation in the Minnesota House because it would what? Because all this fraud that was going on. And so this is one way they had a stopgap. And so what they did was, apparently what we're finding out is that he hired somebody to go out and gun these people down. You got out of line, let's take you out. It's pretty sad. Joe Thompson, first assistant U.S. attorney for Minnesota, said earlier that $9 billion or more in federal funds. $9 billion supported 14 Minnesota-run programs since 2018 may have been stolen. This is unbelievable. Since 2018, they knew about. Somali Americans make up 82 of 92. That's 89% defendants charged, according to U.S. attorneys. I'm not saying all Somalis are with this, but you have about 80,000, maybe up to 100,000 in Minnesota. They all got to go. I'm sorry. How are you going to separate the wheat from the chaff, okay, when all these people, all right, because they go under the clan system. There's a clan operation that they work from, and they're all getting some type of kickback where the money flows back into what? It flows right into the House and the state legislatures of Minnesota, and the other cut goes what? Right back to Washington. That's why nothing gets done. So what are they saying? Vance reposted Shirley's 42-minute report, said this dude has done far more useful journalism than any winners of 2024 Pulitzer Prizes. Yep. Kash Patel, under the heading case update, Minnesota fraud scheme, said yesterday the FBI is aware of the recent media reports in Minnesota. They've already been there. Okay, so they have been working behind the scenes, and there are other operations on there. So I give Kash, all right, a little leeway. I'm not going to freaking scream at them and stuff. They've already arrested a lot of people. They're indicting people. It takes time to investigate. And it's not just them. There are other things behind the scenes we're not seeing. You're seeing the Treasury Department look at all the auditing data. You're also seeing military operations. I mean, Governor Walz right now is bringing in the National Guard because they have a major snowstorm coming in. How interesting when the actual federal judges blocked opportunities to go into Chicago and Minnesota, which opens the door for President Trump to invoke the Insurrection Act. But here he's bringing in the National Guard. I thought that was quite interesting under the cover or the guise of a snowstorm. So whatever. Shirley's video about Minnesota fraudsters has over 1 million, and it's the first time the videos have apparently prompted an in-administration response. In September, he posted a widely watched video. I confronted dangerous migrant scammers in New York City about vendors selling counterfeit goods and low. Yeah, that's been going on for decades. Less than a month later, ICE agents targeted the area and said they detained 9 men. So that's good that at least the administration, I know that he's appearing on Don Jr.'s show. Good for him. I mean, it's excellent work. But you know what? He was following the substance, following the trails. There are other people that are working with him. I know Jennifer Tarloff on Fox News was attacking him, said this young man could not find his way out of a paper bag and stuff. And of course, attacking him and saying, but you know, he was following the evidence by people of investigative journalists that have been covering this for years that basically had no traction. No traction. But an influencer like this, using his weight and his power, this is an awesome, awesome thing. And you should look at this as a positive thing for YouTubers, for people on X in general. This is the way you use your influence, and this is the way you yield it. I think it's fantastic, Marshall.
Yeah, you know, this guy, Nick, he has been hammering away at this for many years. He's, you know, one lady, I forget
He's
who it was.
23 years old.
Yeah, but he's been hammering away at it for a long time.
Right.
And not just this, but all types of investigative journalists. And some influencer girl came out and said, "See, all you got to do is get a camera and a, you know, this and that and the other." And everybody in the timeline there was saying, "No, this guy's been working it. He's been working it for years, even though he's really young." And I tell you what, Brett.
He's working with people on the ground in Minnesota.
The older guy. Yeah.
And the older, we'll cover him and many other people who have given him information about this, and that he's followed the trail on this, that he went around with security or something because they were following him around while he was going around asking. The Somalians were following around, and good that he had security because he commented on that, saying that he felt in some way they were getting wise because the clan, this is how they call themselves. This is how they operate the grift and the grab. They speak to one another. They're all involved with this. I would say almost all 80,000 are. When you find out how many people are involved with this, it doesn't matter. You're not going to want them in this country. You're not. How can you trust them? You can't. We could say that about many other different, let's just say, races that were just dropped in here, like Haitians, okay, that's going on in Haiti, in Ohio. You got many other different arguments that you can make about many other, like Venezuelans, many other people that are entangled, that have been embroiled in this, that have been purposely put here, okay, for a reason during the Obama years, for this grift and graft, for Act Blue, to smurf this money out through the Democrats and through fake voter rolls. That's the bottom line. That's it. That's what it's all about. Prosecute Tim Walz and the fundraisers. Listen to this.
Watching the most recent video by Nick Shirley exposing these daycare centers. Now, they're going daycare to daycare, and the next one that they go to is called Sweet Angel Childcare. This is where they show up to. And this is the business right here. Sweet Angel Childcare in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now, listen to where this phone number goes to when you call this childcare center. Just wait for it.
Thank you for contacting the Office of Governor Tim Walz and Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan. Our office is located at 130 State Capitol at 75 Reverend.
Oh my God. I'll do it again. Sweet Angel Childcare. It goes to Governor Tim Walz's office. Why is a child care center directly going to the office of the governor? Make it make sense. Hold on.
Thank you for contacting the office of Governor Tim Walz and Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan.
If this is not a direct link to Tim Walz and these fraudulent child care centers, I don't know.
Have you seen the lieutenant governor wear a hijab? She's an Irish Catholic wearing a hijab. In solidarity, we got to support these people. You couldn't get rid of these people fast enough, including her, who probably gets money from the cut from the Vatican and the CCD and the Archdiocese because they're the ones that smuggle these people in. It's a disgrace. It's embarrassing. You wonder why we're so in debt. The corporation is going to collapse on its own because of this very, very fraud that you're seeing. 8 just billion here, 12 billion here, 15 billion here, 30 billion here. It adds up, ladies and gentlemen. And this is the reason why our country is sinking. All right. I don't know where we're going to go from here, but behind the scenes, there better be something quite extraordinary built up, ready to go when this corporation drops out, because this is bad. This is so ugly. And you know what? If you don't arrest the governor, lieutenant governor, you don't arrest the speaker of the house, you don't arrest any of these people inside Minnesota, Ellison, the attorney general, any of these people, Ilhan Omar, and get her the hell out of here. If you don't arrest these people and lock them up for the fraud and abuse and many other things that they have done, and then expose us, I know what they want to do. They want to indict these people. They want to set up these RICO scenarios, and what they want to do is they want to pierce the evidence, but it doesn't matter. Force him to step down and resign, then go after him. All right? I mean, at this point, what are you to do? Do you want Flanagan in there? I don't know. Is she part of this corruption too, Marshall? You're muted.
Yeah, she is. They're all on the take.
Yeah.
There's just no way that there's not. That they're not.
I'd say
No
if
way.
you had to look at, I'm not saying the state house per se, but you got to see how many people get kickbacks from that in Minnesota. Let's just say the whole cabinet in itself is on the take. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. You'll have to go set up shop. This is part of what I'm saying about the Insurrection Act. You'll have to go in and arrest all these people, city council members, the people that sign off all these things, that oversee this stuff in some way, the mayors of these cities. You're going to have to shut it down. You're going to have to what? Put in some type of temporary, military, I would say, or something else to keep the state afloat. At this point, it doesn't even matter anymore. And there are many states like this. Think about how many sanctuary states there are in this country. This is exactly why they set up shop. Not just for the voter rolls. It's to smurf and launder money. None of the money goes to where it is. We're finding out Governor Newsom right now, almost $25 billion. Where did the money go? For the rail yard, all the stuff that's coming out breaking right now. And, you got people like, well, I'm not going to support Vance if he's going to run against this and all this other superfluous stuff, which is just ridiculous in some way. You know what? Why don't we go after them each and expose them this way? But, we still haven't seen anything about Newsom. But all this stuff is breaking. And I wonder why. Right now, this is going to blow back really hard on Kamala because you picked him. All right. And this is going to fall on what? Not deaf ears, because people are going to see how bad the corruption is. And I think they're purposely targeting to expose how bad it was and how much money of this was going to Kamala's campaign. How about that one? You haven't heard that yet. Wait till you find out about that.
You know what else is? Bro, this is crazy. I'm just in shock right now. I was recording a YouTube video and reacting to this video, and I was like, let me call and look up their Google reviews. I was just looking up their Google reviews, and I was like, let me call this number. And I call it, and it goes to Governor.
All right. That's enough of that. But, I mean, it's pretty sad, and it's embarrassing. But when you find this out, there are more things that you're going to see that the connections are going to lead back to the governor's office in some way. But no, we still haven't heard any story about the shooter who killed 2 of the state reps, injured 2 other ones. We haven't heard anything about that. We haven't heard anything about that case. Are they building a case, a narrative? What does the FBI say about it? We don't know. We don't know anything about that. And where does this lead to, Marshall?
Well, I've said it so many times, even long time ago, I've been saying it, is that our government is basically a crime syndicate. I mean, they're running it like a crime syndicate, and they've got to do something with this.
How many states
People are going to get
are
fed
as
up,
corrupt
Brett.
as this?
What's
How many
that?
states are as bad as this? I mean,
I think it's
honestly,
in every state.
every
There's
state.
no doubt. I don't know how bad, and obviously in more conservative states, it's probably not as bad. But when you look at the blue cities, which we have even here in Florida, when it comes down to the local level, they're doing all kind of shit. You know damn well they are, Brett.
Yeah.
Look at
let's play
Broward
this.
County.
How much investigating did you actually have to do
Listen
to
to this.
find these centers, some of them that have misspelled signs? Did you just find them easily, or how did you go about this? Because it's amazing to me that nobody else besides you saw a problem here when they can't even spell on the side of a learning center, Nick.
Yeah, it's a great question. And I have to give props to the man by the name of David, who helped me in this investigation. He's been doing research for years trying to expose this fraud. And nobody has given him the time of day to even talk about this. So with his help and my own investigation, I've known about the fraud taking place for a long time. Minnesotans have been telling me for a long time about the Somali fraud that is taking place. And with his help, we were able to crack over $110 million in fraud in one day. And that's just the tip. When people say it's the tip of the iceberg, it really is, because there's billions of fraud inside the state of Minnesota right now.
Now, I know the DHS, Christy No put out a statement, FBI, they're investigating all these places and stuff. But Governor Walz came out and said, yeah, we're doing our job too. No, you're not. I don't see anybody going. They would be all over the news. Even the main paper, was it the Minnesota Star or whatever it is, weren't even covering it. They were covering the snowstorm that's about to hit them. All right. They have not once talked about this subject. No one wants to talk about this subject because they know where this leads to. MSNBC, CNN, many of these regs, PBS, you name it. They don't want to touch this. They want to stay far away from it because it's connected to them, because they get their kickbacks too. We got more. And I'm going to say a couple of things before this, but let me go on. There's just so much more. It's just embarrassing.
Minnesota, they want to talk about snow. That's all they get is snow.
Right. Look at this. Watch this. I mean, they can't even, this is sure. I have like a bunch of these things that I collected and I pierced together of his experience of what he's seeing through what we're seeing through his eyes and how they talk to him. They have no idea. Look at this woman. Look at this one. She's like, what are you doing here? Look at her. She's like, what the fuck do you want? She has no idea what this is about. Breaking. Nick Shirley posted this video of this daycare receiving most money from the government. Wait for it. $3,670,000. This needs to be investigated. Poor little Joey denied again. He went around saying his son Joey needs an autism center, needs a learning center, needs a facility. And they all like, yeah, we're all stocked up here. Okay. But they can't even tell how many people are in these schools. It is an embarrassment. I mean, Walz should just resign now. He better do something, lawyer up. He better do something. He's in deep trouble. I'm surprised they don't impeach him like today, but they're talking about it. That's great. You want to impeach him and remove him that way? That's fine. Then you could go after him after. But I mean, look, at this point, if you're sitting in the state legislature, okay, and you're looking at, let's just say, a lot of people who said, why wasn't this uncovered? Why wasn't this discovered? What did Walz do? Many people that are going to sit there are going to be covering their ass, especially if they're not getting dark funds. They want to make sure in some way that he goes down, or all the people that are going to be blamed on this and stuff will be Walz, his administration, Keith Ellison, and many other. And how much is this tied back to DC? That's the other question. Watch this.
I would like to see if I could bring little Joey, my son, little Joey here. Is there paperwork, or can I check out the daycare? No. Why can't I check out the daycare?
You won't even let him in.
Okay, but if I can get paperwork or anything to submit my son, little Joey, to come in here to daycare? We'd really like to put Joey in this daycare. We've heard great things.
You're a daycare. Your job at a daycare center is what? To bring more clientele in there. She doesn't say we're all stocked up. She doesn't say anything. No, you can't do this. You can't do that. Doesn't even want him in there. It's pretty embarrassing. But it's very telling and striking. Look at her reaction. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know what to say.
No, I would like your business card, actually.
talk to your manager.
Okay, can I speak with somebody? Where are the children at? Are there children here today?
No.
No children.
Yes.
Why are there no children?
To Mexico.
Would my son, little Joey, have friends to play with here? No. No. No friends for little Joey.
Yes. Sorry.
Dang it. Well, have a great rest of your day. So, little Joey would not be accepted to that daycare.
Joey's still homeless.
Joey's still looking for daycare.
And because little Joey couldn't get into a daycare, we went to an autism center, as they have been popping up everywhere as a rise of autism has occurred here in Minnesota. Because of the government funds that they're receiving, I tried to check my son Joey into an autism center.
We've been going to a lot of these daycare centers. We're trying to find a spot for our little boy Joey, but we thought maybe we could check him in the autism center because none of the daycare centers are open. Yeah, and how many kids do you guys have at this autism center?
He doesn't know. How do you not know?
I can't give you a number now.
Like more than 5? Probably, so you don't really know?
Yeah.
What do you guys think about like the fraud that's been labeled on the autism centers here? What do you guys do think about the fraud, or how come the autism centers are popping up?
I can't answer.
What news? Are you a news reporter?
My name's Nick. We're doing a little documentary trying to find little Joey a spot to put himself in one of these centers here because there's
So why are you asking us about
the fraud.
frauds and stuff like that?
Yeah, because we want to make sure we're going to legit business if we're going to bring our little boy Joey here.
This is not a Joey's fraud. But that's our number. But this is we can't let you guys see.
Okay, thank you. So once again, little Joey, he can't even go to daycare, and now.
So you can't let him in. How are you supposed to see this autism place to bring your kids in if you can't walk in there? You can't go in there. You can't see it. You don't understand. They're not even saying, hey, yeah, we're offering paperwork. We're allowing you to come in and see the establishment. So if this is a place that you like, that this is a place that could be good. They're not even offering that. Right away, what's going on in there? I didn't hear any kids. Did you see any kids in there? You know it's a scam. What are these people doing? And why would you bring your kids there anyway? Look at these people. They look like fucking terrorists. Would you want to bring your kids there? Yeah, you want to hang out with these people that covering themselves up with fucking bed sheets, poke holes in it? Yeah, that's what I want to do. Scare the shit out of my kids. Go ahead, Marshall.
No, I mean, it's so blatant, Brett. It's really, I mean, when he goes up to these doors, the lady before this, she looked like she'd gotten her shit beat out of her the night before.
Exactly.
That big shiner on her fucking face. And I'm like, you know, lady, she couldn't even speak anything. This is so, oh my God. Now I think about some of the daycare centers I've driven by, like in Holly Hill, which is not the greatest area down here.
Yeah.
And I've driven by and I'm like, I never see any kids. I drive by and I'm like, what is it? They got pictures painted on the outside of little kids running around. I'm like, there's never any kids there.
Right.
I don't know if that's one or not, but you know, hey.
No, I agree.
mean,
I agree. What's up, Tracer C4? How you
scam
doing,
a dime a
Diana?
dozen, man.
How you doing? Welcome in. Super D, thank you for the 117 gold pills. Thanks, Brett Marshall. Keep bringing the truth. Hogleg 71, gift of the can. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Brett Marshall. Happy New Year to everyone. Thea donating on 1,700 gold pills. Everyone. Happy New Year. Glad to hear your voice again, Brett Marshall. Oh, thank you so much. Glad to see everybody out there. Hogleg 71 gifted the can and the cookie. Curious Cat gifted the cookie. Hello. Yes, Happy New Year, everybody. What are you guys all doing this New Year? Are you guys going out? I don't do anything for New Year's. I just cook food. I'm a foodie. I don't believe in going out. I don't do that hullabaloo and all that nonsense. Everything is overpriced.
Yeah.
I mean, you go out and you order, I get a scotch and it's $100. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I'll cook my own food, have my own scotch. I'll do my own thing.
Everywhere.
I don't, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not, there's no reason to. I don't think it's not that it's not safe. I mean, you could do stuff during the day. I like to do stuff on the next day, on the 1st. Like to do the brunch, go bike riding, do a bunch of stuff. And it's going to be really cold the next couple of days. So I don't know what we're going to be doing about that. But that's what I like to spend. I like to do a lot of stuff. Quantum Respond, We Are Rise, Happy New Year, Brett Marshall. Do you think Trump knows he's a lame duck if nothing is done for the midterms? That's a good point. I don't see President Trump thinking that he's a lame duck at all, especially when you look at the accomplishments he had this past year. I know it's hard for people to process in some way, But I believe the first quarter is going to be massive. What do I mean the first quarter? The first 4 months is going to be massive. And I think
Tax
you will,
refund's going to be huge.
you will see it. You will see it right away. You'll probably see it in February. It'll start to just pick up right away. Now, as for all these arrests and all these other things, who the hell knows? I don't know. I mean, at least they're investigating people. They did arrest people. I mean, we don't know how many people are involved with this. We don't know the data and the records and the audits. I think 2026 will be the year of the audit. Let's put it that way. Everything will be on full blast. Everything will be audited in some way that you will know that that's why there's about 50 plus people that have retired that are let's just put it this way, have removed themselves from the House and the Senate that are not coming back. And they're probably going to be a lot more. I mean, 52 was high in 2018. We're at 50 plus right now, and there's more to come. And I believe that's not an accident. More people will be resigning and stepping down the more and more this continues on. Let me show you this. At least Fox News is covering this. Fox News did a good job. I mean, the big news networks that did it covered it, but CNN, MSNBC, all the liberal ones that didn't cover this. Now you can ask yourself how much money they're getting smurfed to from Act Blue. So here we go. Gunther Engelman puts it out from Fox News. Nick Shirley's Minnesota Somali Fort exposed. Hit front page everywhere. The New York Times covered it. Washington Journal didn't cover it, but many other ones did. And you got to think to themselves, they're saving their asses by covering this. You got to look at it this way. You got to balance out. I got my ledger. I want to be in the black or in the red. Do I want to cover this and expose that I might be part of this grift and graft themselves? Think about all the kickbacks that people are making. We live in one giant smurfing operation, all right, where you and I are not part of that club. We don't get the kickbacks. We don't make anything. What we do is our tax dollars fund the smurfing operation, and it's all coming to an end. That's why, as Marshall said, the IRS is going away. This might be the last year, and I've said it, that the IRS and the Federal Reserve show and rear its ugly head. President Trump said today during the press conference with Bibi Netanyahu that Federal Reserve is being sued, not because of all the wasteful spending, all these other things that are that they're doing. Jerome Powell will be removed in January. You'll probably see somebody else in his place come February, and I think that's just temporary. I think eventually you'll see that the Treasury Department will envelop the Federal Reserve, and by the end of the year, it'll be completely co-opted, and it'll be tied to the Treasury Department run by Scott Bessent. Let's play this.
And the independent journalist who published that video, which now has over 100 million views, tells Fox News the scam is extensive.
I've known about the fraud taking place for a long time. Minnesotans have been telling me for a long time about the Somali fraud that is taking place. And that's just the tip. When people say it's the tip of the iceberg, it really is, because there's billions of fraud inside the state of Minnesota right now.
And Garrett Tenney is covering this story from our Midwest Bureau. Garrett, good morning to you.
Yeah, Bill, good morning. This is just the latest example of the kind of widespread fraud that whistleblowers say has been taking place in Minnesota for years. And elected officials from towns around the state all the way to Capitol Hill are demanding investigations now into child care centers like this one. Quality Learning Center in Minneapolis. You can see this child care center that has received millions of dollars in federal tax money over the past 6 years can't even spell learning right on its sign. And since May 22, this business has been investigated.
It's so sad. It's laughable. It really is. And Fox News is covering it.
They're leering.
I mean, obviously, True Terran dropping $25 Rumble Rant. Thank you. Here's for the 1/4 money I made today shorting Tesla. Let's go silver. Silver up $83. Do you know what it started out? Do you know what it started out? It started out this year at 25.
Wow.
It's going to hit 100. Now, that means the dollar is going to break. And that's probably what you want. Dollar's going to be worth less. But the more silver and gold go, I mean, gold's up to 4,400. Silver breaks the dollar, breaks everything, I think. And so you get it to 100, look out. Things are going to change. And the more and more that these types of hard currencies increase, the spending will come down. The inflationary spending will go down. Also, you got to think about pricing in general. All right. We're going to find a lot of people think that come this month, the Supreme Court will deliver Trump, let's just say a possible, not a positive review on the tariffs. Maybe ask him to redo this or I don't know. I think it might be 5-4. It might be. I don't know if there's going to be a majority vote of 5-4, but that's what a lot of people think. I think he will get. I think with some modifications about how they look at the tariffs. Are they legit? Are they legal? And Scott Bassett said, if you don't do this, we don't have the money paid back. And I think that blows back onto the Federal Reserve. Think about all that. And we don't even know how much money we're taking in. We haven't even considered how much trillions we're taking in, if we even hit that mark yet. Let's continue with this.
At least 13 times for more than 50 different violations by the Department of Human Services in Minnesota. The business is licensed for 99 kids, but when independent reporter Nick Shirley went by this month, the place appeared completely empty.
There's no one here right now. It's midday on a weekday. And if you were to try to go inside, it's completely closed. There's no windows, no nothing. And like I said, they literally spelled the word wrong.
And they're all blacked out. You know what it reminds me of? Voting centers, when they put up all those plastic bags and all the cardboard to block out so you can't see what's going on inside. A lot of these things are bankrolled by NGOs, LLCs, fake dummy accounts, and the money's laundered in there. All right. And there's nobody there. They might have one or two people there. And this one place, apparently no one was there. And I think it's kind of odd in some way that we don't see more of an investigation. But now this is being exposed. Everybody's saying they'll be demanding it. This is all going to fall on, I believe, Governor Walz's shoulders. I think that if they get close to impeaching him, he'll resign. He'll have no choice. But that doesn't mean they're not going to go after him legally, criminally, for signing off on all these things. He knew about all this stuff. He allowed this to take place. He did nothing about it. And that also spells about the bribery charge that Ellison is on tape for. When's that going to come out, Marshall?
Well, Ellison, who knows? But what this is going to do also, it's not just these, the autism centers or these daycare centers. You have to start thinking bigger and further out. What other areas are doing these same kind of things? Physical therapy. You could go on and on with this shit, Brett.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point. Medical centers. You got to think about everything that was set up fraudulently.
All kinds of shit.
Anything that money that went there that the governor signed off for, they absolutely know where that money. He had to sign off on this. He had to set this up in some way. In 2023, he allowed with the driver's licenses to go through that anybody can get one. That means same-day voting. That means anybody can vote. Anybody with a driver's license. All this stuff was set up purposely. And so they can get what? Articles of incorporation to set up businesses, to set up these type of smurfing shops to launder the money. They all knew what they were doing because they all know they were going to get a cut of this. So let's go to this. Act Blue. The daycare fraud. This is how it massive really worked. Bombshell alert. Maryland grandma exposes Act Blue dirty little secret. City No, sweet senior from Annapolis, Maryland, supposedly donated 1,000 times to Act Blue in 2022. That's $18,849.77 total. That's 3 donations every day, a year long. But when Oh My God asked about it, I'm not going to play this. I got to move quick. House Blue Judiciary ran a Democrats' top fundraising platform. Elon also reports that Act Blue was behind the funding for all Tesla protests earlier this year. Think about that. And the founders include George Soros, Reid Hoffman, who is the co-founder of LinkedIn, and many others. An investigation has found 5 Act Blue funded groups responsible for terror protests. Act funders include Soros and Hoffman. But how does it work allegedly? How is it all connected? What's the general flow of all this money, and where does it end up? Simply wash, rinse, repeat. Here's more. Breaking, Minnesota Somali fraud deepens. The fake child care centers caught donating to Democrats. Here they are. Adult Care LLC. They're Lucky Child Center LLC. Look at all these things. Lucky, MS Best Child Care, Sunshine Child Care. The screenshots are blowing up, showing Somali-run child care centers in Minneapolis funneling donations to local Somali politicians right around the time of massive fraud scandals hit the fan. We're talking we're talking places like Sunshine Care, Child Care Center, Minnesota Best Child Care Center, and Adult Care LLC, and Lucky Care Center LLC, dropping $1,000 checks in 2021 mixed with individual donors. This is tied into the epic Feeding Our Future mess, where prosecutors say over $250 million in federal COVID money aid for kids' meals got siphoned off by Somali-linked nonprofits. Disgusting. Recent probes flag up to about half of $18 billion in state programs. My God, that's $9 billion. All right. When you really think about it, how they're actually doing this, and it's been going, and they know this has been going on. They have allowed this to go on, potentially looted, including daycare scams where centers pocket millions with no kids in sight, exposing empty daycares in Minneapolis that scored up $4 million. Politicians like Omar got hit with donations from fraud suspects back in 22. Think about this. If you were smurfing money and giving to her, well, think about the RICO charges that you're going to face, because what you're doing is you're laundering fraudulent money out in campaign finance, what they say is protected, but not if that money is stolen and given out illegally and used, all right, to campaign for Omar and many others. See, they think they got away with this. Trump and VP Mance are piling on the smaller fraud rings, turning Minnesota into a scam heaven. While so many fake child centers are donating to national Democrat races across. Strange. It's almost like we just uncovered the largest election frauds in history. Think about the election that was stolen in 22. Think about Minnesota's probably a red state. Think about all that money that went in to keep certain people in place and somehow. Elon Musk's statement, smurfing, breaking large donations into many small ones to bypass limits and hide origins. Identity misuse, use of fraudulent donor identities, elderly people listed making thousands of small donations without their knowledge. Illegal contributions. Potential illegal foreign contributions. There's the other one. And key examples of Musk posts on X: accusations of fraud, foreign illegal donations, calls for action, money laundering. I mean, look, it goes on and on. I got more to cover this. Marshall, your thoughts, because I got something from Gazette Teller I want to drop right now that I want to talk about.
No, it just doesn't end. Like you just mentioned in that article there, where they talk about, what is it, retirement homes or something like that with older people. You've got Alzheimer's centers that are trying to help.
Alzheimer's, medical centers. It's not just child and daycare. Yeah.
And I guarantee you, Brett, I bet a lot of them are involved in the medical marijuana trade. I guarantee you.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything about that
medical, yet. They're into that. I guarantee it.
Yes, they're probably all over Los Angeles. Yes, I saw that, Alita. Yes.
So, no, I mean, it's everywhere. And everybody's got to look at all these guys that are out there doing this shit like this guy Nick did. Everybody needs to look at all the other areas where the fraud is happening, because it's happening everywhere, Brett.
I'll just give you a couple of summations, because I got more videos and other stuff that I tied together. The United States is not dealing with isolated fraud cases. We're seeing as a coordinated structure, a parallel economy built on taxpayer dollars designed to fund Democrat operations from inside out, using systems that look like public service on paper but operate organized crime in practice. There's a couple more. Those million didn't just vanish. They reappeared in political campaign disclosures routed through Act Blue. These daycare centers or individuals connected to them are making political donations on paper, and at the exact time, they were being flagged in ongoing federal fraud investigations. This isn't a mistake. It's an engineered feedback loop. I'm going to read some more. This is the reason Somali-linked nonprofits in Minneapolis could steal $250 million in COVID aid under the Feeding Our Future program and get away with it. The FBI now estimates over $1 billion has been siphoned off. We know it's up to $8 to $9 billion. Similar fraud operations across Minnesota alone since 2018. They're aware of it since this time. They've been monitoring this, and many of the operators tied to this system have direct connections to elected officials. Think about it. Elected officials, not just in Minnesota, but congressional officials, Senate officials. Let's continue. Elon Omar's campaign accepted donations from individual and organizations under fraud investigation. Not good. That's not a detail. It's a direct financial link between federal crimes and political infrastructure. Let's continue with this. It's not about changing votes at the ballot box. It's about controlling the flow of campaign funding and laundering influence through false systems that appear legitimate from a distance. Wow. Act Blue has become the disguise for this pipeline. It takes stolen tax dollars with them through fake community services and then pushes them into political campaigns as if they come from a grassroots donor base. That is unbelievable. In this last part, this comes from GazetteTeller.com. So I'll just say that again. This is not me saying this. I'm reading this. This is about money. It's about immunity. These fraud operators are protected because they serve a larger political function. Think about that. They aren't exposed because they're exposing them would dismantle the foundation and Democrat campaign infrastructure. That is why we see no serious prosecution as of yet of Act Blue. That's why the DOJ doesn't. That's why the DOJ doesn't act. It's not that they can't connect the dots. It's that the dots lead straight back to Washington, D.C. And yes, that comes from the Gazette-Teller.com. What an excellent piece. It's in my Telegram. You can read that. Fantastic piece. Really breaks down and gives you the culmination of what's taking place. It's not that Minnesota's been under the radar for a very long time. And the idea is that they were tracking all this stuff. And the question is, when are they going to start, putting the investigations together, stringing the RICO Act, the fraud and stuff, and tying this back to Washington? But is it necessarily that they're tying it back to Washington? They're saying to the actual people that are making money off this through the infrastructure and through these Smurf donations, you have to step down or face the consequence of what's coming. Not everybody is going to go to jail. Not everybody is going to be arrested. They're just not going to be allowed to run again or to continue to be a part of this gravy train of fraud and abuse and waste and smurfing and laundering tax dollars all over the place, Marshall.
Yeah, it's got to end. I mean, and it's so big that you can't just wave a wand and all of a sudden, because there are a lot of people out there, Brett, and me included, they get frustrated. They're like, why isn't Pam Bondi this or this and that and the other? Well, the thing is so damn massive that I think
there's not enough people at the Justice Department to handle every state.
A bigger deal than,
yeah,
it just is. I mean, it's so bad. That's what people can't really get.
Let's listen to this. The criminality and corruption in our government has reached a point where the complete lack of accountability is almost a criminal act. If there's not a single honest sheriff in this country with a set of balls willing to slap cuffs on these clearly dirty bastards, good luck. Well, that's the problem. That's what we see right now. Now, I mean, we're hoping that there's something behind the scenes that is executing this, feverishly. I mean, you can't expect the Justice Department, the FBI, to go and arrest all these people, and it's just not possible. They don't have enough people to do this. They don't have attorney generals. They don't have enough district attorneys, federal prosecutors to go after all these people. This has to be done in a bigger, let's just say, behind the scenes way. And a lot of people will resign, will be able to walk away. Unfortunately, they'll never be able to come back, which is a good thing. But, a lot of people are getting away with a lot of stuff. But what happens to all these people that were collecting all this money? What do we do? I mean, this should be the very argument that I saw that Fuentes and all these other people were saying on X, about J.D. Vance. And why is it J.D. Vance? What is his responsibility to arrest the 500, to remove the 500? What, because he's got a campaign going on? It's not him. He's not the president. I don't know why everybody's looking past Donald Trump and saying, he's not going to do anything about it. Oh, we got to focus on Vance because he's running for president in 3 years, which is very odd in some way. And while a lot of people are attacking him, we have a bigger problem that we're facing. What is going to happen this year? Do the arrests happen this year? Does the audits come out? Do we see this more and more? Do we see more people resigning? I think someone asked it out there. If nothing is done, if you don't see a mass uptick of arrest or anything like this in some way, I think a lot of people are going to walk away. I think so. They're going to just give up hope. And that's sad in some way. And I'm not giving up hope. I think there's more to come. And let's just see how this first month starts out. Because, look, this is just exposing one state, one entity of a criminal enterprise that is utilized throughout what? Many other embers, many other connections through D.C. It's not just them. It's not just Minnesota. We're going to find out there are tons of them all over the place in some way. Many states that have been doing this for a long time. How do you think these people get in there to keep their jobs? All right. They're set up in some way. The infrastructure is set up so they can steal the elections, make sure they can maintain their position of power, and then the flow of capital by setting up dubious laws in some way to have illegals be able to vote, be able to grift and graft, just come in and steal and make sure that the politicians on the back end get their cut while the states crumble behind the scenes. It's not too hard to see that this enterprise that's happening is right before your face. And it's not that. It's designed and it comes from Washington. That's where it's set up.
pirate fraud is the only thing that Tim Walz needs to go to prison for. Wait till you hear this shit. 6 months ago, state representative in Minnesota, Melissa Hortman, she was murdered in her home only 5 days after she was the deciding vote to deny free health care to illegal immigrants in Minnesota. The guy who was eventually caught and charged with her murder, before he was even apprehended, he wrote a letter directly to Kash Patel, and he was like, hey, Kash Patel, Tim Walz made me do that shit. Told me to do it, made me do it, forced me to do it, and then wrote this huge long letter of all the shit like that he would have to turn himself.
And we haven't heard anything about this. Nothing. So are they building a case against Walz? Probably. Is this part of it? Well, I mean, he hired a hitman. Was it him who hired a hitman to knock off state representatives, what was it? The state senator? Yeah, state senators.
Yeah.
In some way, state congressmen because
lady
they
and
didn't
her
vote. Yeah, family members that were part of the legislature of the state body. Yeah, did they? Oh man, it's going to be massive. If
She
that
was
comes out,
scared
all
when-
hell is going to break loose.
She
But
was
I do
scared
believe
when
when Walz goes crumbling down, when he either resigns, he's impeached, or he's indicted and arrested, depending on what comes first out of any of those things, that's when this whole house of cards you're going to start to see. Ellison's next. They got him on bribery charges. It's just a matter of time when they pull on that chain, Marshall.
Yeah, she was scared before when she announced that.
You know,
The
she looked
blonde
like she was
woman,
going to cry.
she was really scared. And then next thing you know, her and her husband are gone.
Well, she was probably told, if you don't do this, we're going to kill you. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the grift.
And like that he was scared they were just gonna fucking kill him next for fucking outing these motherfuckers. You see how this fucking thing works? It's a whole circular circle jerk. Let me tie it all together for you. How these fucking fraud systems work. The Somali pirate frauds, right? They run their fraud on the welfare programs. They give the money through Act Blue and other things back into the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party uses that to get elected to then pass more welfare programs so that the illegals and the Somalis can do more fucking Somali pirate fraud, leach more money out, and feed it back to the Democrat Party. That's what's been going on there in
That's
Minnesota
exactly it.
for fucking years.
That's not that hard to
Everybody
understand.
fucking knew about it. Evidently, even the dude who's participating in the murder tried to tell Kash Patel about it. What Kash Patel do about it? He went onto a podcast with his fucking girlfriend to tell everybody what amazing country music star she is. Because that's what Kash Patel is fucking super worried about. Motherfuckers, we need the National Guard on the streets in Minnesota cleaning up not only all the
Well,
Somali
they're coming. Apparently, he called in the National Guard because of the weather, the inclement weather that's happening, this blizzard or storm that's coming that's going to ravage Minnesota. How interesting.
fucking pirates that are running amok over there, but all these corrupt politicians too. Like there's obviously enough evidence. Donald Trump is even tweeting out that he wants justice right now. And it's like, gee, I wonder what you could do, Donald. Maybe you could kick that fucking worthless DOJ fucking AG and her fucking twat. Tell her to do her fucking job. Like there don't even need to be investigations at this point. The evidence is so fucking deep that the inaction is a crime in and of itself. If Pam Bondi isn't going to arrest somebody, somebody should arrest Pam Bondi. They're like, we're going to impeach Pam Bondi. Fuck that shit, dude. She's complicit and then, in a way, taking part in these crimes. All these motherfuckers. If we have to arrest everybody in the government and shut the whole motherfucker down, would anybody be upset? We just went through a government shutdown that was 45 days long. Nobody even fucking noticed. The government was shut down for 6 months. Jesus Christ, what would happen? I don't know. The fucking Somalis wouldn't be getting all their fraud checks for one. That'd be one thing. They couldn't give another $600 billion to fucking Ukraine and Israel. Yeah, probably stop fucking selling us out. What have they done besides fuck you in the ass? Nothing. Lock you in your homes, try to fucking shoot you up with experimental drugs. Yeah, that's the only thing these motherfuckers do.
And that's what we see. I mean, yes, sounds like my brother. Sounds like my twin. Exactly. I mean, I don't disagree with them at all. I mean, from the way it looks, the way it's perceived, what are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, Kash Patel had to come out and say, yeah, we're investigating this whole thing. We got a ton of stuff that's happening and stuff. Show me. Arrest the governor. I understand. How long does this RICO thing have to go on for? I mean, it just can't go on forever. Oh, we're just waiting and building more evidence and stuff. I know that there are things behind the scenes that are happening and all this timing and all these other things, but people are growing impatient. They are. And like I said about Bondi and Patel, they're mannequins. They're there to be structurally moved.
Yeah.
Being put in place. Do these things.
They're like
that.
NPCs, man.
They are there, okay, as what? The face of whatever's behind them, okay? They are there to move, to do this, to do that. What's behind them is probably 3 times more powerful and potent. You don't even know what's going on. I mean, obviously, if it was just them, you think the Justice Department in general, because you got, what, 5 or 6 people in there that Trump was able to put in there in some way, and that's it. And the rest of the Justice Department, they're all what? They're all going along with President Trump in some way. We don't even know what's going on in the Justice Department. We have no idea. We don't know how many people that are anti-Trump that are not there towing the line, supporting the line. Look at the SDNY. They probably destroyed all the evidence. And then what? Over the weekend, over the Christmas weekend, you found out 1 million more files of Epstein happened to just reappear that came from the SDNY. Where were they found? A treasure trove of stuff that's going to be redacted and put out there. That just popped out of nowhere. And I'm so sick of all that stuff. To me, this is much bigger. But in any case, let's be clear about understanding this. What you're seeing up front is for a reason. Because if they were going to show you what's really going on, I think there would be a lot of scared people out there. But I think the guy is right, 100%. If the government just shut down for 6 months or a period of time, who would know? Who would care? We'd feel like something's getting done. We feel like our money's not going out. Hey, do we have to pay taxes? I mean, that would be great too. How about we just shut down the government? We don't know what's coming. We don't know what's coming at all. We have no idea. You know what? I don't even have any more guesses to give, because the more and more we try to position ourselves into that role of being a prophet, a soothsayer, in some way, it doesn't work out. So just enjoy and watch this theatrical masterpiece unfold and call it out every day, because that's the only thing we can do. Look, Nick Shirley, whether or not they were investigating or not, and whether or not people like Tarloff or all these other people are saying, he didn't uncover it, he was working with other people, doesn't matter. His influence of putting that out there for people to see was not only based, it was relevant to understand how deep the corruption goes. Because for the normie class, the NPC class, or for the class that has no fucking idea what's going on, someone like that just exposed all the shit that's going on. And then major news outlets did cover it, at least some big ones. And Fox News did. And good for them on multiple levels. The whole weekend they were covering it, Marshall.
And Nick Shirley's, his whole deal was being able to find this guy that's been studying this shit. He teamed up with him. That was the magic dust. When he teamed up with this older guy.
The magic bullet.
Yeah, that was the magic bullet. He teamed up with this guy. Now, the other thing you said is the government shutdown. Well, guess what, Brett? In about, a month or so, somewhere like that?
January 30th.
We're going to have another government shutdown, and I pray everybody out there should, in my opinion, I want a government. Let it happen.
Yeah.
Because midterms is ours after that.
So, Alita, you saying Bondi, since tied to Bush, Jeb Bush, that he put her in there? He put her in there for this very reason, to really gum up the works in some way, to expose her, to call her out? Is that what we're saying? I mean, obviously, he had a choice to put someone up there, but he wanted to put someone out there, fresh meat, to expose part of the Epstein corruption. Is that what we're saying here? Or was it possible that she gave a very passionate defense during his first impeachment? Everybody forgets that. It's probably one of the best. I think it was better than Dershowitz's defense of President Trump. If you go back and watch it, that was pretty good. And I think that landed her a job. I'm not sure one way or another what her connection to Jeb Bush is, other than being the AG of Florida in some way and him promoting her. He wasn't the governor at the time. I believe he ended his governorship back in what? He did 2 terms, but he ended what? Around George Bush's time. 2008, 2009. I think she didn't come into office until 2011. So her connection to Bush in some way, I don't know. I don't know. Yes, Flynn is on a warpath. I saw that as well. This comes from Elon Musk. It's not daycare. It's not just daycares, as Marshall was pointing out. Somalis in Minnesota, this is Geiger capital, has been setting up fake medical centers and fraudulently diagnosing their children with autism to systematically steal billions of tax dollars. Much like with the HSS program, autism claims to Medicaid in Minnesota have skyrocketed in years to $3 million in 2018, $54 million in 2019, $77 million in 2020, and $183 million in 2021. Look at this, $279 million. Why do you think shit's so expensive? Why do you think insurance plans are so expensive? Because of this shit. Because in every state, you have this type of what? Fraud, abuse, waste, money that's just mismanaged, misappropriated, and yes, smurfed out, laundered out into the coffers of pockets of politicians, left and right, two parties on both sides, you know? And in this case, what you're seeing right now in Minnesota, people are bitching about the ACA and insurance companies. This is the problem. This is exactly the problem. You know, ask yourself this, that if we had a 10-year moratorium, I said too, but, you know, a lot of people said too, no immigrants coming in. And over that period of time, we just removed 50 million people. 50 million people that were illegally in this country, that committed the grift. I mean, what a better country we would have. What a better country we'd have. Oh, that's racist. That's white supremacy. Well, if you think about all the people that came in here illegally that are probably not white, is that my fault? And they happen to be grifters and grafters, and they happen to be part of this invasion. Is that my fault? And so we're supposed to look upon this as some type of white supremacy because we're removing the dead cancer, the cancer that metastasized into this country, that is basically giving us kidney disease, liver disease. You wonder why healthcare is so expensive, and the people that work their ass off and pay taxes can't afford shit because of stuff like this. But we're racist. We're racist. I'm so disgusted with that. No, they all got to go. I don't fucking care. Every single one of them. And I hope they're brown and black because you know what? Maybe we should exercise our white supremacy in this country once again. That's the only way people are going to open their eyes up and their ears and listen to what we're fucking saying. Because it's more than just the fraud, the grift, the graft. This is what happens when you bring in a fucking third world country who's ranked 9 out of 179 countries, ranked 9 on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being the worst. Out of 180 countries, Somalia is ranked 9. Only Sudan is ranked worse than them. And that's what's in our fucking country. Almost 500,000 of these fucking people. You can imagine where Haiti is and many other countries that are on that list. But they're ranked 9. Oh, let's just bring in more people. And you wonder why. They operate like this as clans, as organizations that work with each other in these communities. These tribal units, they call them clans.
How they operate.
Yep, that's exactly it. You
white
wonder why.
People founded this country, Brett. White Christian people need to learn a new history lesson, which is the real history, is that white people thought of the idea, created, and conquered this land. Before we came, it was a bunch of native people that were fighting over pieces of land. Nothing was founded. There was no government, none of that. We came and conquered. That's the end of the story.
Yeah, and now we're being conquered. Thanks again, True Taryn, for the $25 Rumble Rant. Super D gifted a cookie, dropped another cookie, and another cookie. Highlight dropped a cookie. Trump 1 gifted a cookie. Thank you so much. Like, share, and subscribe. Drop us a gold pill. Questions, comments, and concerns. Hit the bell to be notified when we go live. If you want to help out Marshall, Ko-Fi.com/surfdog74. Let's continue on. This comes from Amuse. Amuse, if you're not following him at all, you should. Something we discuss, now you start to see the people, the consciousness that is moving through that people starting to see. Suicidal empathy. We did a show on this. What is going on with the female white liberal judges in Minnesota? They simply refuse to hold Somali fraudsters responsible for their crimes because they're all being paid. They're all being blackmailed. And what happens when the blackmail doesn't work? Keep an eye on that. But they're all getting money off this, and they're all being told, you have to do this. Take, for example, whatever the fuck his name, we'll just call him Youssef. He stole millions from Medicaid to buy luxury cars, jewelry, clothes, and travel. He was unanimously convicted by a jury, only to have Judge Sarah West vacate the verdict. In 2 separate cases, 2 other judges dismissed the cases against his wife and his brother. $7.2 million. It's gone. No one is being held accountable. The story is being repeated across Minnesota to the tune of more than $8 billion so far. Somali criminals in Minnesota have stolen more than Somali's GDP from American taxpayers. My God, why won't Democrat judges hold them accountable? Ask yourself that reason, because they're all being told to let these people go. They're all being blackmailed. They're all being cajoled. They're all being bribed. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. They're all making money off this, or they're in fear of their life. Because if you don't, what's going to happen? We're going to come after you. And they want to make sure that in some way that by letting these people off, the anger precipitates. You'll probably see federal charges come after this, because now that the state is going to allow these people, let these people go, I wouldn't be surprised if Justice Department or other institutions come after these people. I think that's possible. I think you might be reoccurring charges. All right, we got to move on. I got a couple more things to go. Marshall, your thoughts of moving forward here?
No, I mean, look, it's terrible. We're finding out a lot.
This is a good one.
Really, yeah, just bring up the next one. Let's roll, man.
I got so much of this that I pierced together. I have pages that I pierced together for you guys, because we haven't done a show in a while and stuff. So Justin Chip Roy says it perfectly in Minnesota. People need to be removed, deported, denaturalized, and sent back to Somalia. How about that, Chip Roy?
Governor Walz was ignorant of what was happening in Minnesota. Let's be clear. He was campaigning on it last year.
Ignorant.
With respect to the campaign with
I don't know about that.
Harris,
that's too kind.
Her run for the presidency. He literally was talking about it. Thank God that President Trump won that election. Thank God that we do not have a Harris-Walz presidency, because they would.
He wasn't ignorant, and there's no plausible deniability. He was willfully, purposefully doing this, with the full intent, the full knowledge thereof of doing this. He wasn't ignorant. He plays ignorance and coy. Well, I didn't know this was happening. We thought we were doing a good thing. That's what he's playing. That's what he's pretending. That's his acting skills. But that doesn't mean shit.
Be encouraging this to continue, whereas this president is rooting out the fraud, securing the border, stopping the flow of people into our country. But this is what happens when you have massive welfare programs that are funding people that are coming into our country, whether it's illegally or, frankly, through legal channels that are being abused by the radical left and the Marxists who want this to occur. The Somali community knew full well what they were doing. It's a part of an enterprise-wide effort that's global, tied to the United Nations, tied to world organizations, NGOs, our own taxpayer dollars that are being used against us while we import people to be put on the welfare state, to be put on Medicaid, and to take taxpayer money. It's fraud that has to be stopped, and people need to be removed, deported, denaturalized, and sent back to Somalia.
That's why they bring people in, because they know these people are never going to make it on their own. So what do? They bring them in. They set up the welfare system program for them. They funnel the money. They know it's going to go back to the politicians. That's exactly what's happening. None of these people can stay. They all got to go. They all got to go. I mean, at this point, when you look at illegal immigrants in this country, there's no getting around it. There's no getting around it. They all got to go. You don't get an opportunity to stay here, because the problem is you don't know how many barrels of this poison fruit has fallen in and rotted everything. They all got to go. We don't know how many years people are living here illegally. You got to go. I don't care. You got to go. You're part of it. I don't care if you weren't grifting or grafting. You probably were. I don't care. You snuck in here. You got to go too. Even in the light, we cannot give people passes anymore. We can't. I mean, I don't know why we have to sit there and say in some way, it's like, well, we're a nation of immigrants. Bullshit. That's the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard in my life. We should send the Statue of Liberty back to France in pieces. Give me you're tired, you're poor, you're sick. No, you take them. And you wonder why people die of cancer and all this other fucking diseases, because they don't have insurance to pay for it. Because these motherfuckers steal it from you. My God. You haven't seen me angry about this. We're going to go on a world tour. World tour. Fuck illegals. Fuck illegals across the board. I don't care what shithole country you're from, because you're probably on the worst of the worst. Rated 9 out of 180 countries. Rated 9. And we have, what, 500,000 of them in this? Oh, that's just brilliant. How many Sudanese are in this country? It's less than that. My God. You couldn't hate these people more.
Brett, even the legal, get this, folks, I've said this before. The legal immigrants that are in this country, I don't care if they're Mexican or what they are. Legal immigrants in the United States have over 50% on some form of welfare. Think of that. Over 50% of legal immigrants are on some form of welfare. Let that sink in. We need better people immigrating to this country, not scum.
No, I don't think I disagree. Well, it's not even about that anymore. We need to just shut it down.
Absolutely.
We have too many people in this country that shouldn't be here. Until we can fucking fix that, we got to flush out the trash. That's the only way.
Moratorium for at least 10 years.
I mean, if that's what it takes, if that's the only way to solve
on the bottom of the barrel, though, Brett. That's the problem. That's part of it.
Here's Governor Walz's daughter. Here's the daughter furiously accusing MAGA of stoking violence. You need to shut up, bitch. Violence by exposing Somali fraud under Tim's watch. Listen to this. This is how people get hurt. No, this is how you get hurt. All right? Your governor, your father is a fraud. He's a criminal. He's probably worse than that. And you're defending him and you're going out and now you're going to be on blast. Tell your dad to resign so taxpayers can claw back their money. Nobody's advocating violence, only accountability. This broad should look at.
I think that is what people appreciate about me and my content. And it's something that I'm really proud of and like stand by and think is important regarding posting on the internet. I'll be honest and saying having the entire right-wing infrastructure launch a hate and bot campaign against you and your family really sucks. Especially because I'm a private citizen. Like I pay my rent. I work multiple jobs.
So
I do my thing as a private citizen. And then like having
do you know any of the money that Governor Walz made that he utilizes or shares with his family? That's all a fruit of the poisonous tree on these RICO laws.
She's got
any of these people that collected any of this money, they're all fucked. She should shut her mouth. I would be off the internet knowing full well this is going to come back and get a fucking attorney. My God, listen to this nonsense. And this idiot, listen to shit. Bots? Oh, yeah, we're just making shit up. It's just bots. What bots? I saw Nick Shirley walking around actually exposing your dad's corruption. Bots. Fox News is calling you for your father to step down. Bots.
Extreme amount, like overwhelming amount of like DMs and comments and emails, just like peddling propaganda and like pushing agendas.
What agenda?
Is hard.
That your dad's
because
a
I
fraudster?
don't have anything to do with anything.
Oh, it's all made up.
And I guess with this administration and at this point in time, harassing people on the internet is okay.
Right. There you go.
But like I can tell you that if I didn't have the support system I have, this is
all right. There's some good comments. I got to stop. Alita, we're settlers, not immigrants. Good one. Hayden Butner. Excuse me. Hayden Butner. She probably gets paid $7,000 for each post. That's a good one. From the Somali fraud. That's a good one. Let's see. I saw a couple. Yeah, Peto's daughter. Your dad is a criminal. You should get an attorney. Oh man, there's some good stuff over here. I'm not a hater of Limerick. I'm a hater of the deep state who's doing this. I mean, it's just embarrassing in some way that this broad. I don't even want to listen to her.
And side gig.
I mean, honestly,
she's got a side gig in this shit. Man.
It's
some side gig. She's doing some fucking NGO or something.
If I was her, I would stay off the internet. I really would.
These people are stupid, Brett.
I would stay off the internet because if you're making any money off this grift and graft that your daddy gave you, you're in trouble too. Here we go. C3, are you sitting down? There are 42,861 NGOs handing out $120 billion in Minnesota per year. Just imagine the fraud. And we're just scratching the surface. My God, that's insane. We got more. You got more. I'm just rolling through it right now. Look at this one. This is another good one. I'm just going to have to skip through this because I have other stuff I want to talk to at the top of the hour that, no one's covering. It's part of the show today. So we'll just finish up with this. And then I got more stuff. All right.
Center, Specific Quality Learning Center, has received 13 violations and has been investigated multiple times just in the last 4 years by the Department of Human Services in Minnesota. And all of this is public record information. Anybody can find it by just typing the address 1411 Nicollet Avenue. And immediately I found this public information from the Department of Human Services in Minnesota. This checks out to be the spot. It's a child care center, total capacity 99. And as you guys can see, these are all the list of various violations and investigations of this place. Since May 9th, 2022, they've been investigated and received violations over 13 different times for things like
13 different times, and they weren't shut down. 13 different times. Keep that up.
children did not have daily access to interest areas that are used by children are not in good repair, crib mattresses and or sheets did not meet the safety requirements. They even got a violation because the program did not report a death, serious injury, fire, or emergency properly. Obviously, the state has been looking into this place for a while, so it makes you question why didn't they notice the amount of fraud there? All it took was Nick Shirley pulling up to the place and seeing that there's no children there to determine that obviously something is wrong here. You have people coming from the state 13 different times in the last 4 years, and they didn't notice this. Obviously, this is something that needs to be looked into to see just how much did state and city officials play a role in all of this fraud.
It blows my mind. And they're not shut down. They just get violations. They get just what? They get what? Fees. They just charge them what? Fees for not having the proper equipment. I mean, you walk in there, there's nobody in there. You walk into this place, you're part of this thing, and you see that there's nobody there. Oh, they went home. You don't ask those questions. Has anybody been interviewed to discuss? I know there are whistleblowers that are coming out. We heard Comer from the oversight, the guy who only gets to the bottom of a bottle of freaking bourbon because he doesn't get to the bottom of anything. We're going to bring in all the people from the administration of Governor Waltz, and we're going to ask all these questions and all these things. We're going to have whistleblowers, and we're going to launch subpoenas and all this stuff. These guys, they never get to the bottom of anything. And it's embarrassing that I hear that stuff, and I'm like, whatever. I'm so done with that shit. Moving on.
It's because the inspectors that go there, Brett, are in on the grip. They get paid off.
Exactly. What do you think
they
people
get paid
do?
Off, man. Come on, man.
You go to, think about the people that
don't kid me here over there.
Set up restaurants.
You know what I mean?
You set up a restaurant, right? And you got the health inspector come in there, all right? And he cites you all these things. You're not the code here, you're not the code there. And what do you got to do? You got to grease their palms. It's like Rodney Dangerfield said in Back to School, all right, when he was showing this. There's no real business economics model. It's about paying off all these people in order for your business to get what? Up and ready, up and going. That's the bottom line. It's been like that forever.
Everybody's talking about what's going on in Minnesota, and they're not looking at their own state because every other state has the exact same issue, the exact same level of corruption.
That's what
That's
I'm
why
saying.
DC is so corrupt, because every state is just as corrupt.
Yep.
They can't hold DC accountable because they're corrupt themselves. Let's take California, for example. They're an easy one. $120 billion gone. Poof. No high-speed rail. No solving homelessness. They never got busy solving the problem. What they got busy doing was spending that money. Because if you ask them where it went, they can't tell you. Neither can the Pentagon. They missed their 9th audit. Indiana's in trouble. That's a red state. It's not a blue state. They should have all of their ducks in a row, right? No, they don't. Nope. Somewhere in the ballparks of $3 billion is missing from Medicare, Medicaid. Where'd that money go? We don't.
Remember the day before 9/11? A certain secretary of the Defense Department, Gin Rummy, goes
Mr.
right before
Rummy.
and says, we can't account for how many trillions of
Right.
dollars?
Yep.
How many trillions? 2.3 trillion. Next day, what happens? Pentagon gets hit.
Fucking rocket goes.
So you think in some way we're going to be able to figure this out state by state? Oh, they're watching this in some way. There has to be, we have to shut down. The government has to shut down. It's probably the only way we're going to be able to fix a lot of these problems. Look, the Insurrection Act has to happen. He has to suspend habeas corpus. There's just no other way. That's the only way you're going to have mass arrest. Because once you suspend habeas corpus in these areas, I'm not saying everywhere. just in the sanctuary city state fiefdoms, they will not have any what? 4th, 5th, or 6th Amendment rights. You can arrest them, hold them, detain them. That's it. That's what's going to happen. It has to happen. It's the only way. Or this whole merry-go-round keeps going around.
No, but you guys are going to have to pay it back. You lost it, and I got to pay it back? That doesn't seem fair. So when I hear Tim Walz say these words about how the federal government is weaponizing against the states, I got to laugh because it rings a little hollow. Explain where the money went, Tim. Where'd all that fucking money go? And how did billions roll through your state without you knowing about it? That's the whole thing. Billions of dollars don't roll through a state without the governor and those in his office knowing exactly where that money's coming from and where it's going and how to get their piece.
I don't want to say the number. It's countless numbers. Every night I get an update on this of the threat.
But it's white supremacy. That's the reason why they can't account for all the billions.
That's to our federal money on everything we do. Because look, right now it's very clear. The entire federal government is weaponized against Minnesota. And the issues of things that should be states' rights, states to control, they're threatening us with this. And this is what happens when you have a floundering presidency and it is about those ballrooms and everything else. Now we're back on transgender folks. And these are healthcare providers providing the best guidance to parents and children to get their care. So we're assessing what.
Got to throw out the gays and the trannies. They're coming after them too. That's the problem. Look over here. Be distracted about this. He flies a Somali flag at the governor's mansion. And you're not pissed.
It means it's on every front. It's CDLs, it's transportation money, it's money across
that's
the
where
board.
your corruption's coming from.
Mediaite had an article. I was going to cover it. Maybe I'll cover it tomorrow if I do a show about Democrats said this is going to be your President Trump was recorded saying this is going to be your last Christmas to the Democrats. Last fucking Christmas. Tiny Tim, he ain't recovering. He ain't recovering.
That they have weaponized. So
that reminds me of what Shakespeare once said, "Thou doth protest too loudly, sir." He's pointing a lot of fingers, isn't he? Trump is this, Trump is that, Trump is this, Trump is that. Trump is the most terrible president on the face of the earth. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Has nothing to do with the crime and corruption in your state, Tim Walz. And for those of you who don't understand how this works, you don't have billions of federal dollars pouring through the state, going into this entity and that entity, and the governor and his staff not know exactly where those dollars are going and who's getting them.
That's it. I got to move on. I think that was, I mean, he goes on, but that was perfectly put in place. All right. It all stems from the governor's office, the chief financial officer, everybody in his cabinet. They all knows. They're all part of the people. I'm surprised there are more people that aren't resigning, but there are whistleblowers everywhere, and they're spilling the beans about a lot of different things. All right, we got to move on.
There's no way that the governor doesn't know any of this shit. No way.
Of course he knows. He signed off on it.
Yep.
It's not
100%.
just that. Right. I mean, he
No
can
way he's
claim
getting out
plausible
of this.
deniability. Well, I signed off on it, but I didn't, but there's no accountability. So who was tracking it? Who in your office is supposed to track it? Where's the accountability if the buck doesn't stop with you? Where does it go to? Who are you going to send it? To the AG? That's not his job. Who's the chief financial operator of the state? Who handles that? Who's the state? Who works for the Department of Agriculture or Interior? Who works in your cabinet that's there to oversee the amount of fiscal spending that goes to these areas and appropriations? And they follow up with that. Who is that? Who is that person? Who is the CEO inside there that funnels this money out? Who is the oversight? That falls on the state legislature, the state reps, everybody involved. But yes, the governor has not done anything about it. Excuse me, the AG hasn't done anything about it because you know what? He's got his hand in the cookie jar because they got him on bribery charges. And they just haven't prosecuted yet. What happens when the blackmail and the bribery go away? Oh boy, these people are going to fucking sing. They're going to sing hard. They're just going to basically cover their ass for themselves because everybody out there that has all been what? They're going to just go from one fish to another until they get what? One fish, two fish, three fish, gefilte fish. It's all the way through. It's all the way through. We got to cover this. I got to cover the stuff that's all right. Let me cover this because I don't want to run over time. I got to cover the JD Vance stuff because there's been a lot of pushback about this and stuff. I'm not a JD Vance fan, so I'm not going to sit there and one way or another. Hogleg 71 gifted the cookie. Thank you. Super D gifted the shades. Thanks. Look, there's a push right now. I don't know why everybody's 3 years before he becomes president or he's running for president. I mean, it's just, come on, stop with all this stuff. But Bannon world turns against JD Vance's MAGA Civil War. I think there's something to be. It's a holiday season. John Lennon, maybe on the radio, MAGA Civil War has dominated headlines over the back half of 2025, and it's far from over. We saw Fuentes come out. We've seen other people come out and attack. Indeed, the coalition put together by Trump is only continuing to fracture of two of its most prominent principles. Podcaster Bannon and Vice President Vance appear to be increasingly at odds, while because Bannon's going to run for president. That's the thing. He's going to run for president, supposedly. All right. And I'm not going to defend him here on this one. I think right now, starting this early and Vance and doing all these things, President Trump has 3 years in. Why don't you focus on being a good, legitimate vice president? All right. You got plenty of time after the midterms to consider this when this is going to happen. And there might be other contenders involved here. All right. Does that automatically mean that you're going to get the nomination or you're going to get the hat tip from Trump? And while Bannon and Vance both hail from the Republican Party's populist wing, Bannon is accusing VP of forming his first inside a velvet glove. Over the last few days, Grace Chung, CFO and CEO of Bannon's media company, has launched a series of stunning attacks on the odds-on frontrunner to succeed Trump as the GOP's standard bearer. I agree that the idea that he is not on the odds-in or odds-on frontrunner. There are many people that are going to run, and many people are pushing back and saying, I don't think so. I think we need to hold this. And now with Turning Point coming out saying, yeah, we're all going to be behind him, something doesn't smell right here. On Friday, Chung retweeted a clip from white nationalist Nick Fuentes excusing Vance, whom he referred to as jelly donuts. Yep, they've been mocking his weight, his height, all these other different things over his positions on immigration, Israel, as well as relationship with Peter Thiel and Elon Musk. The following day, Chung ripped into Vance over the Trump administration's response to the Somali fraud scandal unfolding in Minnesota after Vance submitted, "What's happening in Minnesota is a microcosm of immigration. Sick fraud in our system. Politicians sick because they get power. Welfare cheats like this because they get rich. But it's a zero-sum game, and they're stealing both money and political power from Minnesotans." On the Post X, she writes, "Word salad from the VP." Okay. Then after that, praise Nick Shirley for confronting potential scammers in Minnesota. We are going to fucking do nothing. Okay. JD Vance has done more useful journalism than any other winners of the 2024 Pulitzer Center prizes. Okay. This is what you're seeing. Where's DOJ, FBI Joint Task Force? This dude has done for more. They're attacking him. Bannon himself went on to share a screenshot of Vance's tweet to opine that Nick is a patriot, but American citizens must not depend on the media. DOJ, FBI Joint Task Force, DHS, HHS, State Department have been deployed months ago. So they're going back and forth. Nick is a patriot, but American citizens must not depend on the media. I think, okay, this dude has done more useful journalism than any other winners. He talks about Nick Shirley. There's a lot of people saying Nick Shirley should win the award because of what he's done. There's more stuff in this. Deporting 30 million illegal aliens could cost trillions, like $1 to $2 trillion. We should lose $4 trillion in GDP. This is what JD's Tech Bros explains. We would lose $75 to $100 billion in taxes, would crash the economy. This is why President Trump promised but didn't execute on it. I'm not saying it's over yet, but they're saying that this is what we're going to have to deal with if he becomes the president in 2028. I think hold your horses on this. I don't know why people are jumping the gun over this stuff in so many different ways. I don't want to get into this too much, but if you're not blowing the Tech Bro right now, they're owned by Tech Bros. That's Marco Rubio and JD. They're owned by Broligarchs. They're owned by David Sachs and his crowd. And Bannon said the big fight coming from MAGA is not really conservative, but this is not as powerful as they were. But the Tech Bros are. They believe they're dominant. They believe they're taking over Maha movement, and they're taking over MAGA movement. Okay, that's the fight that's coming. That's the fight that is positioning itself, I think, very soon to 2028. Where we go with this really depends on where President Trump is going to position himself into making sure that a lot of this stuff that is supposedly happening behind the scenes gets done. And I think in some way, a lot of people feel reluctant, or let's just say uncomfortable, that Hal Vance rose to power in the Senate, became the vice president, and then all of a sudden now his position, turning point, is all in favor of him. And then in 3 years now he's going to be president. And then no one's really talking about President Trump. They think he's failed. I mean, you got 3 years to go. And this whole thing is now just, it's ridiculously unsettling. But what's bothersome to me is that the focus is being taken off from the egregious acts that are happening, and you focused on Vance, okay? You focused on Marco Rubio. I mean, why don't we sit there and say, hey, look, the focus should be, instead of you putting all these things together for your exploratory committee in 2028 or whatever it is and stuff, why don't you focus on being a good vice president? I'm not saying he's a Judas. I'm not saying that at all. But what's this hullabaloo about all of a sudden? And that's why people are pushing back and saying, not so fast, Jelly Donut Boy. That's what they're saying. They say he's fat, he's overweight. They're saying a lot of stuff. Let's show you this. This came out.
I still think that Eric is going to run. I think he's going to put his hat in.
I don't know what's going to happen now. I mean, I just think in some way there's a lot of pushback. There are people, these Zoomers all over the place. Boomers, David J. Riley puts this out. Boomers have no idea what's coming for them. The Zoomer Waffen are real, and they're going to burn it all down. Kiss your 401s, multiple homes, pension, Social Security, goodbye. Dave the Pillow will seem like a merciful option. I'm here for it. Wow. So you have Zoomer nations want to kill off all the boomers. They do. They want to kill off all the boomers. They don't like J.D. Vance. I'm serious. This is a real brewing battle. Okay? The Gen Xers are caught in the middle of this, and you're going to hear the rest of this and understand why.
Who's going to win? It's going to be Gavin Newsom against J.D. Vance, because J.D. Vance is subhuman and Gavin Newsom mugs.
Subhuman?
J.D. Vance is subhuman?
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
He's got a very short total facial width to height ratio. He's obese, very recessed side profile, whereas Newsom is like 6'3" Chad.
So JD's very tall. JD's got to be.
Well, still,
6'2",
I mean,
6'3".
Gavin Newsom obviously mogs him to death.
So you're a Newsom head. You prefer Newsom.
Mogs him to death. That's their choice words of they have their own way they talk. Wrecks him in some way. That's what he means by mogs him. Overshadows him in some way.
To the vice president.
I'm just telling you who's going to win.
Do you prefer him
though?
He can't prefer
honestly.
He can't prefer him.
Clown, man.
But see, this is the point. This is exactly why you can't take them seriously. This is the problem. Because no one seriously wants Governor Newsom as their president. No one seriously wants it, except for fucking libtards. And this guy from the Zoomer class says, oh, we got to wreck JD. But see, that's the choice that we're going to be facing. And a lot of people are like, I'm not going to vote for him. And they'd rather sink the ship, just blow a hole through it because of this nonsense. And it continues on. And this is going to be a knife fight. A punch up at a drunk wedding. It's going to be brutal.
It's hard to say, but Newsom being that much more of a mogger, and like having a president who's like fat and especially that young.
You think I don't think he's fat.
I would say
he's a bigger guy for sure.
It's just embarrassing. Like, how are you fat and you expect to like lead a country? You can't even be in shape,
So let's say you got a vote. It's 2028.
I'm voting for Gavin Newsom.
You're voting for Gavin Newsom.
You can't be that subhuman.
So hold on. You got all right. Well, this actually is of a thread with the whole conversation, because you look at these two candidates. You have Gavin Newsom, worst governor in the country. I think we would all agree, destroyed his state, let its main city burn to the ground because of his incompetence, is a personal, complete derelict, liar, degenerate. But he is good looking. I'll grant you that he's good looking. Yep. And kind of looks like Patrick Bateman, American Psycho. And then you have this vice president, President Trump, the transformative right-wing president in our lifetimes, who do you support Trump or no?
Yeah.
Okay. So you got this vice president handpicked by Trump, who is extremely intelligent, very right wing. I think he's a pretty good looking guy. I don't know. Maybe I guess you disagree, but he's all these things, checks all these boxes, would have all these great policies. And regardless, you're going to pick the pro mass migrant, pro trans, pro murder the babies, pro burn the cities to the ground, pro BLM Democrat, because he's skinnier than the conservative vice president.
100 times over. Yeah, JD Vance, would he be a better candidate and probably closer to me in terms of policy than Gavin Newsom? Yes, but he's just not going to be good enough to be deserving. I think the right has kind of let down the voters for the longest time. So I think I don't really think that right wingers should just give support to these jesters who continue to underdeliver on their promises. Just let the Democrats win. That's kind of what I'm talking about in terms of just like why I don't support Vance as a voter. But
so you're saying no, they shouldn't vote for any Republican. The right wingers should not vote for the Republican.
Not until the right actually wants to do the things that they're promising.
I forget his name. I forget what his name is. Something.
So is there a
this is how
candidate
the
you would
Zoomer
prefer?
mentality is. This is the Zoomer mentality. They want to burn down Rome as much as they can. All right, because this whole thing, because they're all on the Fuentes thing. They don't like the fact that he punched back at Fuentes, and all the Groypers and all these different people in some way are now purposely going to attack JD Vance. So all the people that voted for Trump, the Zoomers or what have you, the younger generation, are all going to say, no, if you follow me, you got to vote against them. That's what they're going to do. Marshall.
So basically what he said was, I'm gay. I mean, that's all I could hear through the whole thing. I'm gay.
Yeah.
I'm like a woman.
Well, the MAGA is basically, he's saying is that, overshadows him.
Yeah, I know. I get all that. He's like a better stud of Chad and all that shit. He's thinking like a woman. That's exactly what this guy's doing. He's saying that I want the good-looking guy that's tall and the Chad. And he's got money in the
false
bank,
prophet.
that and the other. Yeah, I want
the false
idol.
prophet, because that's what he is. I mean, I don't know if he's the
Like
Antichrist.
best looking guy and all that, and everything.
Yeah.
Even though he's a scumbag who's
No, that's not
raping your
Fuentes.
family from all their fucking money.
I think his name is Clavicature, or something like
What a
that.
faggot, man.
And
Sorry,
the
my
thing
language.
is, he's part of that Groyper class, and his whole thing
Well,
is, I don't drink, I
Groyper's
don't
one
smoke,
thing, but
I'm
this
all about
guy
my
is
health.
not.
Yeah,
I don't.
But this is what's out there right now. And my argument about this isn't stuff like that. Can we get through the 3 years with President Trump? All right. And who's to say he's not going to get another 2 years? All right. I'm one of these people holding out hope in some way that there's something going to take place. Something's going to take place from 2020 and all these other things to continue us on. Obviously, he's not going to be there much longer than that. He'll be in his 80s. But I think at this point, I think people would still want Trump in over JD Vance, but I don't know. I mean, at this point, how much fatigue will be setting if he does? If the next 3 years are golden, and this year was pretty good. I mean, everybody thinks it's like he's got to undo a lot of shit, and this doesn't happen overnight. I just think that there's some people that they're just thinking way ahead. They're jumping the gun. They're not holding their breath. They're not waiting to see what's the next thing is. Give it this first quarter. I think things are going to happen. But right now, there's a potential of people pushing out there to make sure. And I don't like the idea that Vance is, he's slowly starting this whole thing. TPUSA came out and said, we're just supporting you right away. There is a primary that they do, and that goes through that. And I don't give a fuck about TPUSA. I don't even recognize who they are anymore. I don't trust them as far as I could fucking throw them. I don't want to stay far away from them at all and all that batshit crazy stuff. But I will say this right now. There will be a primary. There'll be a lot of people running and stuff. And I think in some way, you'll see many people like that, all right, go after Vance. Because there's going to be a lot of people saying, yeah, I'm not interested. And I'm just saying, beware of that, because that's what's coming.
So college kids need to create their own conservative groups on the campus.
Start thinking.
Don't worry about being associated with TPUSA.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, the whole thing is right now it's been
Your own
hijacked,
thing,
co-opted. Yeah. So this is part of the other show that we're saying. In a hilarious moment, President Trump just ordered Mar-a-Lago kitchen makeup for lunch, and this is what I was saying. Serving peace.
Are you okay? Is everyone fine? Margo, if you would. I think you could sit outside and have some food. Would you like to have food, or do you consider that a bribe? And therefore you cannot write honestly, or therefore you have to write a bad story. Okay, because if you'd like, would you like something?
You're going to miss him when he's gone. You're going to miss
Yes or
him.
no? You
I'm
can
telling
speak.
you. He's funny as shit.
Margo, Take them outside, tell the chef, serve them a little lunch, okay?
Give him some dog food.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
I got some milk bones for you.
Thank you, press. Thank you, guys.
They'll only get worse. So go out of their way to make them
Look at Stephen Miller's face.
We have to make them.
Alex, thanks. Press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
Either way, go outside of the
Look at their faces.
Yeah, they're like, man, this guy's a fucking badass.
I mean, honestly, he's like, yeah, if you don't like write in the paper that I'm bribing you a $25 meal, I'll feed you some food because we're all going to eat lunch here. I just think it's glorious that President Trump looks at it. And here's another thing. I want to go through it. Speed rate. We're just going to cover it real quickly because I'm running out of time. So President Trump, again, Marshall and I were talking about this early on, tells Zelensky his generals look like central casting. I mean, is this idiomatic? I mean, is this what President Trump just says to people in some way? Does he just throw this out there all the time? I know it could be possibly chalk it up just a phrase, but the way President Trump continues to blatantly spotlight central casting and repeat it over and over feels to me like he's trying to send a message. But that's just me. Yeah, and that's just me too. Scott Bessent, Secretary of Treasury, central casting. Glad you asked. Central casting is founded in 1925. Whoa, let's play this a little bit. Is he saying that the military generals there that he has there, okay, are supplied by Hollywood? And what we're seeing is not even real. I mean, is there really a war going on? Is this all made up bullshit? Was Kiev really hit? Is this all AI? That's what I'm saying to you. Is this like this fake nuclear war? Are we really seeing all this death and destruction? I mean, is it real? I mean, has anybody seen anything regards to this other than what some media throws up? Have you ever seen a war that no one covers? I haven't. I have not seen a war that they don't cover. Hell, you're when they're ready to shoot off missiles from Iran to Israel and stuff, media knows exactly what time that's happening. And they're covering it.
Meanwhile, they're ice skating in Kiev.
Yeah. Living on the beaches, driving Ferraris and Maseratis.
All our times have come. Here but now they're gone. Seasons so beautiful. Without the sun or the rain, it can be like they are. Come on, baby, you will take my hand.
Look, all I'm saying is, I know it's kind of odd. I mean, look at Biden. Clear example. President Trump tells us all the time. He died in 2020. Someone's playing a role for him. So obviously, it's not the same guy. So they got to keep these people alive and fill these positions in while they simultaneously pluck these people behind. And someone has to fill a role, okay? An actor, a part to take up that role. That's exactly what it is. It's crazy. But I've never seen a war ever not covered, ever. I mean, hell, you can watch reruns of the Vietnam War. It's just for the life of me, is this war really going on? Or is there something far more, let's just say, serious that is taking place that involves Russia and Ukraine, and we're not seeing it? Because I just don't know. I really don't know, Marshall.
Yeah, a lot of it is really just everything. You look at Venezuela, how much of that is real? Yes, we got our ships down there. There's a certain degree of it.
Well, we'll cover it.
There's always gray areas that you
supposedly.
can't. Yeah, I mean, you don't know what's real and what's not nowadays. That's what fucks your head up. And so all you can do is just kind of roll with it, let it play out. Really.
All right. So Zelensky to make a deal immediately, he says. Okay.
I think the land you're talking about, some of that land has been taken. Some of that land is maybe up for grabs, but it may be taken over the next period of a number of months. And are you better off making a deal now? Look, let me tell you, they have been very brave. They fought very hard and continue to fight very hard and do tremendous damage. But Russia would like to see it end, and Ukraine would like to see it. And I think it's time to end.
Can anybody answer me why we haven't seen this war? Why aren't there journalists embedded in this war? But this is a very deadly war. Hell, 500,000 Iraqis died on the first week. Women and children. They fucking killed us. They slaughtered a lot of people when we invaded Iraq. But you watch that. You watch Geraldo Herrera all over the place in Afghanistan and Iraq. You watch the war, one of the craziest battles in Fallujah. You saw that live. But you don't see anything about this war. And can you explain me why?
That's why I was saying earlier, man. The people are walking around in Kiev, man, they're like shopping. The lights are up. Everybody's, dainty and nice and having a tea, a little wine, whatever. I mean,
I don't believe
so
anything.
much is so fake, Brett.
I don't believe anything about this war
Almost
anymore.
everything we see is not real.
I don't think so. I really don't.
Just
I think
video
there's
shit.
Yeah.
Just like the Apollo landing.
Yeah, I mean that's the way I
Go
look at it.
drive a car on the moon.
I mean, is it plausible and logical to say? I mean, I don't know what's on there. I don't see the intelligence. But from the standpoint that we see this and stuff, what war is going on? You say there are thousands of people, hundreds of thousands and stuff like that. But there's no video footage. They show some bombing of some building. There's some drone attack. But there's no video footage of anything. It's only what they want to show you. Trump told Putin on a phone call after the attack Putin's residence. Thank God we didn't give Zelensky Tomahawk missiles. Top Putin aide Yuri Yushkov said Trump was shocked and outraged over the attacks on Russian president's residence. Okay. I mean, I wanted to get to that. I thought that was important to cover.
I think that he said, "Thank God we didn't give Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine."
Yeah,
I think
to
that was
Ukraine.
a very telling moment that he
Yeah.
said there. He's telling us something when he said that.
Well, the question is, who is going to use them? Europe? I mean, was Europe going to use them? I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe. Who are the bad guys here? Did U.S. military strike Venezuela? What I'm reading is that these are unconfirmed, unverified reports. Okay, but after 4 months of striking narco boats in the Caribbean Sea, let me blow this up. A lot of people are. I mean, I've read a couple of rags, and they're saying it's unconfirmed. As I've written many times, a lot of folks have taken this. What happened? As written many times, folks have taken this to mean threatening boots on the ground, war in Venezuela, even though Trump says he won't rule such a thing out. If you listen carefully to what the President Marco Rubio say about it, this is not what he's talking about. He's talking about going after the routes, facilities, resources of the narco use of Central and South America to keep the drug trafficking gigs alive. And many of our allies in the region, like Ecuador, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Paraguay, have been working with us to try to put an end and hold the drug traffickers, hold the drug traffickers on our hemisphere. He said that I have no doubt that this includes putting some extra pressure on Nicolas Maduro. Let's listen to this.
On a boat, we saved 25,000 American lives. It's very simple. And what's happening is they're having a hard time employment-wise. They can't get anybody. And we just knocked out, I don't know if you read or you saw, they have a big plant or a big facility where they send where the ships come from. 2 nights ago, we knocked that out. So
that was Christmas Eve.
Drugs are down over 97%. Can you believe it?
That is, I mean, you have done a miracle.
Wow. So he says this on the show, but there's no one that can verify that in some way, Marshall, because I looked at a couple of rags and see if they, but it's unverified. But we don't know what landmass, what route, what area and stuff. He said it's something near the beach. Okay. Well, we don't know which side. So what's your take on that? I mean, I'm not really sure in some way, but he says that something was hit and they, let's just say, bifurcated a passageway, a route that connects part of the southern hemisphere, Costa Rica, Ecuador, Paraguay, and what have you. So, I mean, what do you think about that? I mean,
I don't know. Like I said before, how much of this is real, how much is not. It's very hard to. I mean, how do you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even with the Venezuela, like you're talking about, with the Venezuela thing, we don't know how much of that is really hardcore and how much is really just diplomatic pressuring.
Right.
So there's a lot of things going on that they want you to see, but they don't want you to know on the back end, on the You know, if that makes any sense.
Well, I mean, they want Maduro out. There's no doubt about it. Who's to say
Well,
he's not out?
obviously, yes,
Who's to
yes.
say he's not out now? We don't know. We don't know.
That's true.
I mean,
It's very true.
he's illegitimate. There's no doubt about it. Just snapped January 6th pipe bomb suspect Brian Cole's confession. So apparently he confessed to this. He says that he did this, and it's a miracle that the bombs didn't go off. The defendant felt that people up top, including people on both sides, public figures, should not ignore the grievances and to call them conspiracy theories, bad people, Nazis, and fascists. Instead, people feel that their votes, just like that, are being thrown away. So he did this in response to that, not because he supported MAGA or President Trump per se. He just felt like he had to do it. Okay, the defendant cannot rebut the statutory presumption of detention, considering the extreme and profoundly serious nature of his crimes, the years spent deceiving us around to avoid accountability, and the intolerable risk that he will again resort to violence. The facts that the circumstances in this case compel the conclusion there is no condition or combination of conditions that would reasonably assure the safety of the public. So they're going to hold him without bail until the trial. He's admitted to this in some way. So the question is, from what I was reading, he got all the stuff. He read this online. He went to Lowe's, Home Depot, and that the argument of this discussion is that these bombs just didn't go off. For some reason, they didn't go off. And is that a godsend? I don't know. I don't know if we're being told the whole story about this. Apparently, he learned to do this on his own from YouTube videos. Okay. And the fact that these bombs did not go off. You know, I read in many other places years ago that these were dummy bombs put there. So I'm not quite sure that I believe the discussion. He's admitted that he's done this in some way. The question is, who helped him facilitate this? That's my thing. And I don't think we're going to know about it. I think it's a done deal. And just like the Tyler Robertson case, they're closing the book on this. He's admitted to this. He'll probably plead guilty to this, and then he'll get sentencing of this. But they're saying in some way that he did this on his own volition. No one helped him. He did this. He learned this on YouTube. Can you imagine learning on YouTube, building bombs for dummies? Yep. And going there to Home Depot or Lowe's, and you could build your own bomb. I mean, obviously you can. Okay. Are you buying it?
I'm not buying it personally because I don't think that this guy just came up on his own and decided. None of these, Brett, we've got to admit something to ourselves. None of the majority of these people that come up with these things where some guy planted a bomb or this or that or the other.
It's too easy.
They are motivated by a certain other thing. And they are probably motivated by our own government and our own corrupt entities that do this shit. And they do it all the time. And look, it's just like calling me a racist. It doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work anymore.
Trump once says YouTube allows that. That's what I was thinking. I mean, I just got my show I did with Thomas last Sunday got taken down for copyright infringements because I showed 2 clips of Dave Chappelle. And they said, if you want it back on, we'll put it back on. So how is that even possible that the Daily Signal says that he went to Lowe's, that they're saying the Justice Department saying he admitted to all this stuff, and that the reason why he's going to plead guilty supposedly he told them that he did this on his own. There's just no way. I don't believe this guy learned how to build. And then to say that the bombs, for heaven's sake, for God's sake, they didn't explode because of the ordinances that were in there and that they didn't go off is a miracle. I'm not buying that either. I think they were dummy bombs. They were set up as a dummy. This guy's a dupe, a plant, and he had to learn in some way. Someone had to guide him to build something structurally sound that appeared to be that way to make sure that this whole thing, this narrative, goes completely away. And again, another story that you were falling for. I'm not buying either. That's my point about this, Marshall.
Yeah, it's another government operation, man. I mean, come on.
Don't buy this at all. There's no way. He's allocating to this. They probably said, listen, hey, just, we'll give you a couple of years. That's it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, what's going to happen? He allocutes to this. He's going to plead guilty. Thank you, Trusty Turner, for the cookie. Hog Leg for the cookie. Trump 1 for the cookie. Wood USA, thank you for the 717 gold pills. Need more gold pill love support. Thank you. Thea donating 300 gold pills. Thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. Drop us a gold pill like them. If you want to help out Marshall, ko-fi.com/surfdog74. All right, we'll finish up, and then we're done. Again, the narrative never dies about Charlie Kirk, TPUSA, and everything about it. Even comedians are telling the truth about
Erica
it.
Kirk knew Trump before she knew Charlie. She actually won Trump's Miss Arizona pageant. Her parents are both from military intelligence family. Her dad did
This is the comedian.
deals with Israel, probably unrelated. And Erica Kirk was part of running an orphanage in Romania where children went missing. Enough children for Romania to permanently ban the orphanage and permanently ban Erica Kirk. How fucked up you gotta be to get banned in Romania?
Do you know how fucked up it has to be when comedians now are becoming influencers and telling stories and narratives about things that no one wants to cover? Wow. I mean, basically, it's crazy. It is crazy.
Andrew Tate is the mayor there. You really gotta push some boundaries. Mind you, this is when Epstein was still active, so I'll let you connect the dots. By the way, I'm not suicidal. For the record, I am quite happy, okay? You heard it here. But the weirdest thing about Erica Kirk, she met Charlie Kirk, not on Christian Mingle. She went in to interview at his company, Turning Point USA. He said that he fell in love right away. Now, 4 years later, he's dead. And she has now inherited Turning Point USA. She's doing podcasts on it too. Like, I'm so excited. Like, to my future wife, please wait 2 months after I die before doing a podcast. 3 months if it's my own. Come on. When you look at how fast she moved on, and then you look at how it started and how it ended, how it started was not romance. How it started was her going in for a job, and how it ended was her getting a promotion. So I'm just saying. It was probably Tyler.
Ooh, that was good. That was good. But when you have comedians now making bit jokes, comedy, let's just say truths to some level, exposing this, I mean, what does that tell you? Comics always get the truth. Yes. Yes, Alita. The FBI usually supplies explosives. Maybe Trump, FBI provide these explosives. I don't know, G. Westbury. I just don't believe the narrative about the pipe bomber. I mean, the guy, they found the guy, the whole story about finding him after 5 years. And, they got the defective detective. They called up Monk and they said, hey, this is what we got to do, and put it together. And this guy's hiding out in Virginia. 5 years go by. They found all the bomb material. I don't know. Another story that I just really can't wrap my head around. And to say that he learned how to do this on YouTube, I didn't know YouTube teaches you how to make a bomb. I mean, Trump one was right. I mean, it's just nuts. I mean, does YouTube teach you to make fake bombs? I mean, I don't even want to put in the algorithms. Like, how do you make a bomb? And then someone sees that. That must trigger a warning. How do you make a fake bomb? I don't know. I got one more thing. Marshall, your take.
The whole Erica Kirk thing is really,
yeah, dude.
To me, it's falling apart. It's really bad.
Yeah, Candace Owens is looking like a rock star now. She's looking like.
And they try. And you look at how many people online, the influencers,
trying to destroy her.
That are trying to destroy. Yeah,
do not destroy her. They just want her to stop talking about it.
All she's doing is asking questions.
Yeah,
I don't get that.
Yeah,
I don't buy this whole. And you know what, Brett?
Yeah, can you learn how to make meth on YouTube? Yeah, that's a good point, G. Westbury. Does YouTube teach you how to cook meth, how to make PCP, how to make crack cocaine? I mean, apparently Hunter Biden knows how to make crack cocaine. You put in sodium bicarbonate, you mix it up, you cook it up. I mean, I didn't know YouTube teaches you how to make fake bombs. I mean, if this is what this allocution's going to be. All right. Moving on.
It all goes back to all of this is fake. I don't believe a lot of this shit.
No, I don't.
I think
you can't tell me the narrative that they
so
caught
much of this
pipe
shit
bomber.
is being played before our face. Anyway,
that the pipe bomber, you caught the pipe bomber, and he admitted to this. And from his admitted testimony, he learned how to do this on this. It's
a big fucking movie. I mean, it really feels like it, man. I mean,
it's
crazy, man.
Yeah, I know. look, I really don't.
I'm scratching my head at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. Okay. All right. Yeah, let's play this to all the people saying stop talking about Erica Kirk, maybe blah, blah, blah. Okay. Also want to be really clear. I think Charlie is likely dead. I don't think so, but that's just me. I don't think it was likely staged or fake. Okay, I do. All right. I just want to play this and we'll move on. They just updated this and said, where's the video Charlie playing with his kids, blah, blah, blah. So this was just updated. All right. So my attitude is I don't believe the narrative about any of this stuff. And this is one and another. But you can't convince me otherwise. I mean, honestly, even if they convict this kid, all right, you can't convict. I mean, they better have enough evidence. All right. Because I can tell you right now, this whole thing could blow up really quickly.
So let me get this straight. Charlie Kirk had no coroner's report, no church funeral, no burial site or grave, no official death certificate. Why has no official autopsy been conducted, nor any findings released? No ballistics report. Not a single eyewitness on the record, and an award-winning widow already taking over his show. Why was the entire crime scene destroyed within hours, erasing vital evidence? They tore down everything, including the Dairy Queen. Why were there no paramedics on the scene? Why was Charlie Kirk's body removed and illegally flown out on Air Force 2? Why did Donald Trump pardon a Navy SEAL killer whose shadow looms over this case? Why was the stadium mysteriously booked by Turning Point 4 months before his death? How was a massive high-tech stadium memorial produced in only 11 days? Why do multiple women publicly appear as Erica Kirk, raising questions of identity? Why are there no birth certificates for their children? No names revealed, no faces ever shown? Where is a video of Charlie playing with his kids at a birthday party, or picnic, or any other family setting? Why do Freemasonic and satanic symbols surround this tragedy with chilling precision? Interesting that the gun was found on property owned by Palantir. Isn't it interesting Kash Patel fired many of the heads of the FBI in that area days before the shooting? Do you find it interesting that Charlie sold his house 8 months ago for $5 million? If the father of your 2 young children was just brutally murdered for the world to see days ago, do you leave them home with the nanny while you go on podcasts grinning from ear to ear? Is it not curious that a 17-year-old first-time Donald Trump beauty pageant contestant won, and now Trump appointed a top attorney general woman who has no experience who was also in his beauty pageant? This is only a fraction of the clues and evidence on this psyop. For those of you brave enough to look at the evidence while removing the preconceived emotions, the conclusion is undeniable.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's some great comments. And YouTube canceled Patriots for free speech. But build your bomb. Good winning. Hogleg 71. G. Westbury. What did you say? I wouldn't dare look up bomb making, though. No, I wouldn't either. Leave Brett's hairdo alone. You get used to it. My hair. Wind tunnel tested hair. Yes, exactly. Erica Kirk was mentioned in some child trafficking in Slovakia. Look, all this stuff, what I'm saying is, you look, it gets to the point where you get a headache when you look at all this stuff. It's like you either accept it for what you see it as and move on, where you continue to question it, break it down, you get nowhere. Or here we are right now with the last part. You just make fun of it because that's all you can do, because it's all a fucking joke. I mean, I go back to the whole thing with the Ukraine war. I mean, every other war we had embedded in there, fucking watching everything. When Israel and Iran are about to go ape shit together and shoot off missiles. There's a video camera right there. There's a CNN feed. Oh, they got it from there. They got it from Iran. They got it from Israel. That you could watch that all day. You could watch them blowing up Gaza. Okay. And shooting kids. I mean, but you can't see this war. And I don't know. How about the fake cave? How about U2? If Ukraine was so dangerous, U2 was playing there in a tunnel or in a cave. Was that really there? Or was that AI with the green screen? Remember that? A couple years ago, they had a concert there, U2. Does anybody remember that? Go look that up. Marshall.
No, it's everything we're seeing right now over the last, I don't know, since Trump got elected, really, and probably before. But we're seeing a lot of fake shit that is it's not real.
Yeah.
I mean, we're being fed a narrative. We're being shown things. Just because you see it on TV doesn't make it real.
Right.
You know, you look at videos of Ukraine, they're walking the streets, ice
Okay, I got
skating
one
in the
for you. I
thing.
got one for you.
Go
Are there
ahead.
more pictures of Michelle Obama being pregnant or Erica Kirk?
That's another one.
That's a great
Neither
point,
one of them.
G.
Neither one.
Who's got more pictures
I've
of being
never
pregnant?
seen either one of them. Either one.
Okay.
So
Thank you,
that
Trump
tells
one,
you
for the
everything you
comment.
need to know. And I almost feel like Erica Kirk is part of the whole thing. On a good side. On a good side. I think the whole thing is a goddamn theatric.
I think he's faked his death. Maybe the whole concept of the guy in question is not even real. That he is a magician, in some way. That this whole thing is
I don't think the dude's dead. There's no
neither
way.
do I. I don't think
Right.
so either. Thank you, Trump one. The hair is great, Brett. I try. Yeah, it's the wind
Yeah,
tunnel
your
test.
hair looks good, Brett. Got
Yeah,
the
I'm
blonde-
trying to outdo Governor Newsom, because he mogs out. I can't. What are these
Mog.
terms? Mog.
This is
I mean,
mog.
does anybody
Sounds
know?
gay.
I had to look it up.
Sounds gay. That
It is.
sounds gay.
I mean, honestly, some of the terminology
Mog.
these Zoomers use, mog. Where do they fucking come up these terms? I mean, honestly, I had to look this up. But see, I'm concerned about the Zoomer class. I understand. I don't like the fact that J.D. Vance is already campaigning and setting up this stuff. You got 3 years to go. Be a good vice president. Focus on that. Okay? Focus on helping support President Trump accomplish everything he does so it'll perfectly end up well for you in the primaries. All right? Where TPUSA comes out and give you a pat in the back. Okay, Jelly Donut, we're going to support you. Okay? As Nick Fuentes calls him. He calls him all these other things. I
don't trust him any more than I trust Pence. I'm just going to say it right now.
Yeah. Okay.
I really don't. I'm not saying he's a bad guy.
Do you think that's the same reason he was chosen? I mean, apparently Don
Probably.
Jr. likes
I think
him.
there's something, there's something I don't know, man. I still think one of the Trumps are going to, I think Eric Trump is going to run. I think.
No pictures at all.
Had the hat on today.
Yep.
Trump 28.
No, I know. I saw that. So, all right, that's the end of our show. Have a great New Year. We will not be here on January 1st. That's Wednesday. Right? January 1st is Wednesday.
New Year's Eve is 31st.
Yeah,
That's
New Year's
Wednesday.
Eve is Wednesday.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah. So we will be here. I'm actually going to do a show.
New Year's Eve is Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
New Year's
yeah.
Eve.
Yeah, I'm going to do a show. Yeah, but I'm not going all the way through. It won't be a long show. And I'm going to try and do one tomorrow as well. But I won't be on January 1st. I won't be doing a show because that's a day I take off.
Well, that's Thursday. That's a Thursday.
Thursday. Okay. All right. That's good to know. I got to look at this. All right. So that's the end of the show. Thank you guys again. Thank you for supporting the show. Let's see. I can see this. It's Thea 2.1, Wood USA 834, and Super D with 817. Thank you for supporting the platform. It's good to see everybody back. Hopefully I'll return tomorrow. We will talk more. There's a lot more stuff to cover. I didn't get to cover it tonight. I've always run out of time. But I will probably see people tomorrow for about an hour on a pop-up. Wednesday, we'll do a New Year's Eve show, and then we will see you for next year. Marshall, have a good night. If you want to help out, Marshall, ko-fi.com/surfdog74. Good night, everybody. God bless. Be well. Be safe. Ciao.
Good night.